Hello and welcome along to my second ever live stream here on the channel. Firstly, thank you for joining me, and secondly, I hope you can see and hear me okay. If you can't, do let us know down in the chat, which I'd encourage you to get involved in as we go along. It's going to be an interesting day here. So for those of you that are following the head coach story already, you'll know exactly what's happening. It's the director of football in charge of transfers, contracts and staffing. We have no say. We're going into the start of the summer transfer window and he's got just under 2 months to do his work before the season. So after a great recovery next year, we've got to try and make it to promotion next season. And we need our director of football to arm us with a squad to do so. Hopefully no more big sales and hopefully some repeated magic from the January window. But thank you everyone for joining so far, especially the few of you that have already liked the video. I do appreciate it. As I mentioned before in my first stream a few weeks back, I haven't got a fancy setup. I haven't got the multi-screen or anything like that. I've got the one screen here and then my phone where I can see the chat. So that's about all we've got for now. But we'll try and make the best of it. Hopefully the Virgin Media internet will last for a couple of hours this time. I know it hasn't been the most reliable over the last day or so. But let's go and head into transfer deadline day and let our director of football get firmly to work. It's going to be an interesting one. And I'm hoping he can produce some magic for us. So thank you for joining along, and I very much hope you enjoy it. If you are new and you haven't seen it already, please do put a thumbs up on the video. It does make such a difference to the performance of the stream, and it does let people know that we're live, of course, so I do appreciate it as we go along. But let's go and head into it. Let's see if our director of football can produce some magic. We've got some news to talk about as well, almost instantly as we go into the first day of the window, and that is pre-agreed deals going out. And if we look at the transfer window, there's a few of them going. So Tim Preek has had an offer accepted, just this morning in fact, 7 million from Bursaspor in Turkey. We've got Basagog moving on for 600 grand. He's going to Metz in France. Tavares going for 4.5 million to Wigan. Fell out of the side towards the end of last year. And I mean, if we go and have a look at him at 30, he's a good player. But more importantly, Wigan are in League One. I think they've come up. They did, they won the league, but how on earth are they spending that much money? And then Jaroszynski, £1 million, rising further to Toluca. Are they in Mexico? They are in Mexico. So 3 big deals done already, potentially a 4th, and hopefully that means he'll be chasing replacements. It's still Neil Dusnip, who we had at the start of the season. Hopefully he'll be able to do some more special work. And you never know. We've seen a bit of magic from him in January. It certainly shouldn't be as painful as the Salford one last time out, our first ever live stream. And I'm hoping he'll be able to produce a few moments of special production. So here we go. Don't know what that sentence was. Special magic. That's what we're going for, eh? But Neil Dusnip's the man. 14 ability, 17 potential, 11 negotiating. He's got all the skills in the locker, but can he produce? Let's skip ahead and formally start the transfer window. I've got all the things I need for today. Hopefully working internet. I've had to go on the slower one because of the Virgin Media problems, so hopefully that won't cause any issues along the way. We've also got our trusty Dr Pepper Zero. Other retailers are available, other drinks brands. If you want to sponsor me, let me know. That would certainly help and I would appreciate it. Please do get involved in the chat down below. Anything you want to know about this series, about my plans for the channel in general, or just any odd questions you want to ask, feel free to. I do appreciate it. But thank you for joining along. I can see there's another couple of thumbs up on there and more of you viewing as we go along. So thank you so much. Your support is appreciated. Andy, no worries that you're a bit late, pal. I appreciate it. I was a minute late myself, if it makes any difference. So hopefully the director of football will keep you happy for the next hour and a half or so. Because otherwise it's going to be a very long couple of months. And I tell you what, this is probably only a youngster, but the window's opened and immediately there's an offer in. We've got a question from the media about Owen Edmonds, and this is something that's important actually in this save. We mentioned it in the Salford stream last time. People ask, how can you have any influence if you've got no say in transfers, contracts or staffing? And this is sort of how you have to spin the media. So with someone like Owen Edmonds, who's homegrown at the club, who we desperately don't want to go, we have to try and force their hand. So us saying in the media, this is a hands-off warning, you've got to hope the director of football listens. I mean, if it's Chris Casper at Salford, they almost certainly won't. But, let's be honest, some of them will. Ahmad from Singapore. Wow, thank you for coming from the other side of the world. I do appreciate that. I didn't know I had viewers from Singapore, so that is a very pleasant surprise. Thank you for coming along, and I hope you enjoy the stream. But let's have a look at this player that Jonathan Pepper's made an offer for. He's our head of youth development, so I presume it's a youngster. It is from Kettering. Wow, that's a bit of a 360. The first ever club that we managed in this series. Now, it looks like he's on loan there, so he's probably not a permanent Kettering player. He's on loan from Hull, but he's at Kettering nonetheless, the club where it all started for us. So something that us and Andrius Dimitri would possibly be able to bond over. A Cypriot under-21 international. He looks a decent player, you know. 1.5 ability, 4-star potential, 300 grand. I presume he's out of contract and that's compensation. It is. So let's see if he comes in, but that could be a promising start. Otherwise, I want to look at the transfer rumours. It normally gives us a hint as if there's anyone potentially coming in from other areas. I don't know if there will be, and it doesn't look like we've got any of those there. Is there any Burnley on there? I don't think there is. So let's skip ahead and see if we get a first early sign-in. But if there's anything you want to know about this save, we will have a look at some of the competitions as we go along. I think it was Barnsley who went up from the playoffs in the Championship, so they'll be making a long-awaited return to the Premier League, a side that were heroes for us in FM19, of course. We left them sort of just before making it to the top, and obviously, you know, the rest is history with Newcastle. But a really good start. I'm very surprised to see an offer on the first day of the window. I know it's not the director of football, and it's not really a first-team player. We will talk a bit more about the Burnley squad because he could still be useful in that. But otherwise, it's a really positive sign early on. Chris Casper left us with a tiny squad. And even if we have backup players or younger players that aren't quite as good now, just to have players will make a difference. So let's go and have a look at these messages. Oh, we've got an offer from Neil Dewsnip already. I'm not used to this. This is ridiculous. We're starting to get offers early in the window. We've got an organised head of youth development and director of football. And we're getting timely offers. They're not waiting until the start of the season. They're actually doing it on time. We're going to start the season with a squad, I think, here. Wigan have signed Tavares. We knew that was happening. They're unhappy we've sold him because he was a regular starter. These are the things where it's a little bit hard in this sort of challenge. People have mentioned it in the comments as we've gone along in this series. It's really difficult being judged by the fans on what your director of football's doing. You'd love to just be able to say, I'm not doing the transfers, don't blame me if it happens. And obviously there have been big name managers at the top that have said before, well, it's not my decision to sell him. The board, the director of football did it. But here, we've been blamed for something we haven't done. We've got Spong signing a new deal. He's a fitness coach for the under-18s. A scout, Butterworth. He's okay, he's staying along. And we've got an offer for Demarai Gray. I didn't think it would be him. 30 years of age at Leicester in real life. This is a ridiculous start to the window. Let me know what you think of that one. That's incredible for me. Only 1.5 million as well. A third of the price of Tavares. A better player, I'd argue. An inverted winger off the left. Natural as a winger on the right as well. Oh, this is a brilliant start. 50 caps for Jamaica. Playing for Zaragoza, he's made loads of appearances there, at Stuttgart, at Metz. He's played in all of Europe's top leagues, actually. Probably with the exception of Italy. That's incredible. I mean, this director of football gets better and better. He's also secured one of the physios. In fact, both of the physios down to new deals. That is the best first day of the window I've had at any club so far. There's still new people coming along. Thank you so much for joining me. It's great to see the number of viewers going up as we move along. If you're new to the stream or the channel, please put a thumbs up on it. It does make such a difference to the performance. And hopefully you enjoy it as we go along. Especially if Niels Dewsnip keeps producing this magic. I'll mispronounce his name every time, I'm sure. But as we go into it, let me just talk you through a little bit about the squad and some of my plans for next season. So those who watched the last episode of Season 8 will remember that in the last game we played 5 of our Youth Academy prospects. Those were Callum Bonner, who was in this year's youth intake, Steve Hay, the left back. We had Jack Vaughan in the middle, who scored a screamer as it happened. There he is. We had Leon Lowry playing off the wing, a good young striker, and Andy May up front, who scored on debut. So I've got a feeling that those 5 are going to be great players. They've all got potential that's 4-star or above. So if we put them in potential order, you can see they're all right up there. Steve Hay the lowest with 4-star. So I want all of them involved in the squad next year. All of them are going to get game time off the bench, in the cups, whatever it may be. And we want to make sure they get plenty of time. So I've got to make sure that they get to their best. Gray looks very good according to Andy. I couldn't agree more. Jamon, thanks for joining along again. Demarai Gray at 30, great for a couple of years. I agree. I hope the deal goes through. I mean, I guess Tavares going. We've lost one of the wingers there. Basagog, although he didn't play, was a winger. So we've probably only got the 2 that start in Edmonds and then Jamie Higgins on the right. Who else have we got out there that can play? Glenn Stevens had been covering, but it's far less than ideal. And then I guess the youngster can play out there as well. Jack Vaughan likes to play on the right as a winger. But Demarai Gray would certainly be our backup on the left and a good player to have off the bench in a game we're chasing. So let's skip ahead into the window. We've got a few more going out. So as they leave, hopefully the director of football signs players. That's all we can hope for. But so far, it's been a really brilliant start. Thank you for all of you that are watching, that have liked the video, that of course are involved in getting down in the chat and talking to us. We do appreciate it. As we go along, let us know what you think of the signings, the players potentially coming in. Because I've got a feeling with Neil Dewsnip, the director of football, and particularly our head of youth development, who's been very active as well, there's going to be a lot of deals this summer. Obviously, it's a slightly shortened window. I've come back in June rather than May, because that first month took a little bit of time in the Salford stream and it caused a bit of trouble. So hopefully that won't be the case this time. And hopefully we won't have any mic issues either, so you'll be able to hear me the whole way through. But let's have a look at what's going on now. We've got 12 more bits of news. Oh, I got very worried for a minute there. Neil Dewsnip, you're a popular man. You've rejected an offer from Rob Simpson. He feels the player has a future at the club. He's our best centre-half and he's a homegrown prospect. 43 starts last year, 59 appearances overall. England under-20 international. Please don't sell him. No matter what the offer is, please don't sell the homegrown players. It's the bit we all love most about streams. I don't know if you agree, about these long-term saves and stories when you bring players through the youth academy. And that's why I kind of want to stay at Burnley for a few years as the Demarai Gray offer gets accepted. Is he going to accept that wage? 12 grand a week. Mind you, look at what the director of football's done. He's got the selling team wage contribution of 7.25 grand. So he's buying a player on the cheap and he's getting Zaragoza to pay some of the wages. That's incredible. Fair play to him there. Nigel Adkins praising our model of the director of football. If it's as good as our one, it's going to work out. This is chalk and cheese to last year with Chris Casper. Those of you who were here for the last summer one will remember what it was like. He didn't sign any players. He made it really difficult. We've had our offer accepted for Dimitri as well. Only 1 grand a week. That's fantastic. And there's loads of scout reports coming in that all look very promising. So if he wants to sign a few of these, I will not be complaining. Matthew Kilgallen stays on as a coach. And we're 2 days into the window and things are looking very, very rosy. Dren, thanks for coming along. I agree. Demarai Gray can make an all-round impact. He's going to be a backup largely because Edmonds is so strong on the left. Maybe he'll compete with Higgins on the right. But he's a very good player. Thank you to all of you coming along and watching. Thank you for all of you putting thumbs up on the video. It does make a difference. I really hope you enjoy this one as we go along. I've got a feeling that we're going to make up for the lack of action last year. No Chris Casper and yes to Dion Dewsnip. Jonathan Pepper, the head of youth development, he's going to make a difference here as well. And I've got a feeling there's going to be a few really special signings this summer. So I'm crossing my fingers and I'm touching wood. And I'm hoping this is going to be a magical summer. Don't forget, we've got to win promotion next year. If we don't get promoted, we failed in our club vision, we'll probably get sacked. And then we'll be dropping back to League One. We'll be going back to a club like Salford. And we'll have to rebuild for the 3rd time. It's something we've got to be a bit careful of, to be honest. Because with Charlton, that sort of knocked 2 years out of our progress. Oh, good news. Rob Simpson signed a new deal. He's delighted to be working under me due to his admiration for me. I've only been here half a year. That seems a bit weird. But I guess he hadn't played many games before this year and we've got him in there every week. So a 5-year deal, nearly 20 grand a week. No sell-on fees. No minimum fee release clauses. That looks very good. My beloved Luton Town trying to sign Tim Preaker. I'd happily let him go there, but I don't have a say in that. I'm really pleased that Rob Simpson signed a new deal. And our director of football again producing magic. He just continues to do good work. Every bit of news is good. And so far, this is the complete opposite of last time. I know some of you like to see struggle, like to see failure, so it might be a bit less easy to watch in that regard. But for me, I think I'm owed a good transfer window, and a good summer one in particular. After a couple of years of struggle at Salford, I'll certainly take an easy one here. So thank you for getting involved in the chat. As more signings get offered in, and more signings get made offers for, more signings coming on contract, please do let me know what you think of them. And this director of football I think is going to be a hero. Oh, he's done it again. I mean, this is brilliant news to start the season. Owen Edmonds has signed a new deal, the left winger. Obviously nearly went in January. We had loads of offers for him. A 5-year deal on 30 grand a week. Again, there's no sell-on fees. There's no There isn't. There's no minimum fee release clauses to anyone. So that should tie these guys down for years. And if those guys stay here this summer, Edmonds came through here, had a loan spell at one of our former clubs, Charlton, but 114 league appearances. He's come back from his long injury at the end of last season. And hopefully he'll start the next one on fire, because before his injury, he was brilliant. I mean, this is just too good to be true, isn't it? I'm just waiting for the moment of disappointment where, say, Sunday Balogun gets sold for 20 million or something. But so far, it's looking really good. One player's left, one or two coming in. Jarosinski's going tomorrow, so maybe he'll go in for a left back. There's a couple of the experienced players. Furlong's 31 now. He gave Sterling a new deal, so I'm guessing he won't be sold on. But there are a couple more that I would be happy to see leave. Mayhas, I wouldn't be devastated with. He's probably the one big first team player I'd be happy to see go. We've got good young players in defence. Rob Simpson obviously being the key one now on a new deal. Thank you to those of you who are coming along, new to the stream. I can see the viewers going up, so thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please put a thumbs up on it. It does make such a difference. And hopefully you're going to enjoy Neil's work. I apologise, it's a Tuesday morning. Probably not the ideal time for a stream, even in the lockdown. But unfortunately, Tuesday's my day off, so it's the only day I can really do this sort of thing. Pavel Jarosinski, he's moved on. Useful squad depth, they're a bit disappointed he's sold. I mean, he didn't offer anything, really. Steve Hay's going to drop into that role next year. He's not much worse, even at 17 or 18. Trevor O'Callaghan out on loans, picked up an injury. Oh, it's only one day. I mean, he's a good young player. He was signed in January, don't forget. He scored goals galore at Exeter in League One. So he's someone we've got to think about as well. It's 3 or 4 top quality young strikers. Leon Lowry playing for England 19s. I mean, look how good he is. These guys are going to be superstars. The English competition's still looking good. We've moved up one place in the European club rankings. Certainly not anything to do with my time at the club because we haven't played there. Andy, how are the wage budget looking with these new contracts signed? To be honest, I don't think they're too bad. And Dren, this director of football, you're right, what a guy he is. I'm not going to say it just yet because there's 6 weeks to go and he could let us down. But so far, with January and this window for the first week, he looks like an absolute legend. Andy, let me go and show you the director of football. Not the director of football, the budget, sorry, getting my messages mixed up. They're looking great. 10 million transfer budget, 450 grand a week remaining on the wage budget. So it must be fairly big. The finances, we're spending 509 grand a week, likely to go down to 460, and we've got 955. So in theory, he can go absolutely nuts if he wants to, but I don't think he will. And as I say that, he sold Tim Preaker. Now, normally I'd be disappointed with this because Chris Wood's retiring as well, and it'd leave us with just the star that is Sunday Balogun. But £7 million, we're only paying a little bit of his wages, just over a third. And if we go to the squad, we've mentioned Leon Lowry, and don't forget Andy May scored on his debut at the end of last season. So those two are probably almost as good. They're perfectly adequate. I mean, Andy May scored as many goals as Preaker has for me, and he's made far less appearances. So I've got a feeling that those two can adequately back up Balogun next year. And it'd be great to get them footballer substitute appearances. I mean, 15, 20 championship appearances off the bench could make such a difference at that age for those kids. Andy May in particular, a bit older at 19. Leon Lowry getting international honours. He's playing more higher level football. But for us to be able to do that with Lowry as well would really make a difference. I guess the one thing I would say at this stage is apologies if you feel like I'm reacting to your chat about 2 minutes later. There's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, because of the internet settings, I've got the stream on a slightly lower one, so my messages and the stream is about 30 seconds behind for you guys watching live. But also, I guess I've got to be a bit more careful because I've only got the one screen set up. I know most of the fancier YouTubers, they've got the 2 or 3 screens going around, the lovely setup, which hopefully one day I'll have. But at the moment, I've just got the phone and the one screen, so it will be a little bit slower. But I will get to you eventually, and I will try and respond to all your messages by talking. If I did it through the chat, we wouldn't have any live stream. But let's break away from that for a minute, because we've got our first signing. It's only a youngster, and it's going to be an important one. It's Andreas Dimitrou from Hull, 300,000. I presume that's going to be a compensation fee. So let me know what you think of this kid who has joined the club. Only a 1-year deal. We're going to ask Edmonds to welcome him. Why not? Really good from Edmonds. We're getting his morale up. 2-star ability according to the coaches. So maybe good enough to be a backup. I mean, maybe not looking at him, but fairly determined. 2-star ability, 4 potential. He's all right. I don't think he's too bad, is he? Are there any youngsters that are better than him? Lewis Clayton down there, he's not got as much potential. So do you know what? For pre-season, I'm going to get him in the first team squad. Because I feel like he could potentially be a fourth choice. We've got Coleman, May, Hassan, Simpson, who are the first three. Craig Robinson can obviously play there naturally. We'll focus on him too. But he's not a bad player to have around. And again, odd cup appearances won't hurt. But as we go along, we're flying through this transfer window. Things looking very good so far. Thank you again to everyone that's joining along. I really do appreciate it. He did reject Salford, Andy. You're right. I didn't notice that at first. But that is an absolutely key fact. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. He's rejected Bristol City, Sheffield Wednesday, Wimbledon and Salford. So good news for us. In fact, I didn't check where Salford finished. Where were they in the end? They were 18th. Wow, I mean, we left them in 4th, don't forget. And we joined Burnley in 21st. So that kind of shows the job we've done there. And Salford's one of the worst goal differences in the league. It was fairly intact when we left. Minus 29, so they took some heavy batterings. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think they'll go down next year. And the reason I don't want to speak too soon on that is because if we don't get promotion with Burnley and get sacked, going back to Salford might be our only option. So I don't want to get too upset just yet. Don't forget Chris Casper's not there anymore, so it might not be as bad this time. But as it stands at the moment, this transfer window is going a little bit too well. So I know it may well stay that way, but I'm just waiting for the bombshell to hit. Dren, Jamon, both think Dimitri looks like he could be a solid player. And you're absolutely right. And we've got to think about that as well. He could be sold on for a profit. He's definitely going to become a decent player. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to develop him. And we've got another signing. And we've got another offer. Oh, this is so good. I don't think I've done this save on camera since FM18 and off camera since FM16, 17. I can't remember when the director of football was introduced. I used to do it before with the chairman in charge. But I want to be fair to the director of football. I honestly think even after a window and 1 week of this one, this is the best and the most proactive director of football I've ever had. In fact, I think it's the only truly proactive director of football I've ever had. He's signing players early in the window. He's signing them before other ones go out. He's sort of preparing us for life in the Championship and making sure that we've got a squad when we come back for pre-season training. I've never seen anything like it. He's going to go down as probably the hero of this save at this rate. Demarai Gray has joined the club. Obviously known for being at Leicester in real life. 12 grand a week. He's getting Zaragoza to pay half of their wages. We're going to ask Furlong to welcome him, a similarly aged English player. 3.5 ability, the same as Edmonds on the left. The same as Higgins on the right. Can play further forward on both sides too. I mean, he's a natural replacement for Basagog before he even leaves. It's so organised. Dren, at least Fulham and Wimbledon stayed up. You're spot on with that one. And that's the most important thing. We want the clubs that we can beat to stay up. And Wimbledon are one of those. And to be honest, that's the sort of club I'd quite like to take over if we do fail here. But with the way this window's going, I think we're going to be hard-pressed not to challenge for promotion next season. So let's go and look at the next one that Neil Dusnip's made an offer for. The hero himself has bid for a player called Kelly. Let's cross our fingers. It's Lloyd Kelly. A left-back. Jarozinski's left, and a day or two later he's putting in an offer. A left-back can also play centre-half and hold in midfield. 4.7 million. 3-star ability. He's just very solid. Same sort of ability as Cobalt, and obviously another natural option at centre-half. This is too good to be true. I mean, I'm sorry for those of you who wanted to come along and see me as grumpy as I was last year, and to see us struggling as much as we were with Salford. But this is going very, very well. And if that lad comes in, I mean, we've almost got the squad we want. It does mean Steve Hay will be demoted to third choice. But he's a bit younger, so under 23 football will help him. Got a decent personality, so going out on low may be useful too. But I'll probably keep him in and around the squad, because these are the sorts of players you want them to learn from. But everything going swimmingly so far, and I'm a little bit concerned, because it feels like there's going to be a bombshell somewhere. Something has to go wrong. But as it stands at the moment, things looking very, very good. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope it stays that way. Thank you to everyone who's coming along. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. I hope there aren't any technical issues. If you haven't already, please do put a thumbs up on the video and get involved with the lads down in the chat. I really do appreciate it. It's so new to me. Obviously, it's only my second live stream. I'll try and do them more often. Andy, you're a Bristol City fan. Lloyd Kelly is a bit of a star. The only thing I really remember about him, I had him in a save a couple of years back. It was off camera. I think it might have been York City I took to the top. And I was having a brilliant time with them. And Lloyd Kelly in the England under-21s with James Justin, who came through at Luton and moved to Leicester this summer. And they were vying for the fullback spots. And I think they played together one game. One left back, one right back. So I do remember them. And Lloyd Kelly's a very good young player actually in real life. So hopefully his experience will be invaluable here. I've just noticed on the left there. Have a look while it's there. Campbell. He was at Tottenham. He's gone for 19 million. We had him on loan at Charlton a few years back. Really good player. Not the type we're going to be signing with Burnley. Let's have a look what's going on now. Any more news? The new championship season just a week away. Wigan, Portsmouth and Rotherham promoted. We know that Wigan have been spending big money and the other two sides are pretty reputable. Brighton, Southampton and Watford down. So again, 3 fairly good sides at this level. Banks going to Newport County, nearly said Notts County there. He's out of contract. He's a decent player, but he's not getting any better. So as long as he gets a career in the game, we'll be happy as a club. There's more scout reports coming in. I don't know why we see them. I don't know if I can turn them off. I probably can in the settings, but it's not something I'm going to try and do today. And it is actually quite interesting. It gets your hopes up to see the sort of players you could be signing. The offer for Lloyd Kelly's been accepted. 15 grand a week as a squad player. And that's another crucial thing with this director of football. So often, people like Chris Casper were offering players to be first team pros, offering them regular starting positions, and they weren't good enough. Lloyd Kelly and pretty much every other signing here has come in as a squad player, and it just makes us really comfortable. It helps us move along, it helps us make sure that we've got a good squad, we manage expectations, we don't have players getting too excited thinking they're going to play more games, and that's all we can ask for as we move through the year. So hopefully that will remain the case. Thank you to all of you that are coming along. I hope you're enjoying the stream. I hope there's no technical issues. Please do get involved down in the chat. Let us know what you think of these signings that continue to pour in. Hopefully our head of youth development will find a few more. I do like the younger gems coming along. But otherwise, this has been a remarkable start to the window. So let's skip ahead again and see if there's going to be any more deals. While we're doing that, I will of course get a couple of shameless plugs in. Doesn't hurt, I'm going to try and make sure there's not too many today. But thank you for all of you that are coming along and that have checked out the 2 new series we've had on the channel. On Sundays we've got our first real Football World series, which is Review the 92. Myself and a friend talking about the football grounds we've visited in England. We're just trying to sort of fill the void. It's therapy for us because we're no longer able to go to games across the board on Saturdays. We're trying to make sure that we've got that sort of real life talk about football. It's enough for us, it keeps us going, and hopefully we'll be able to start going to football again soon and all of those problems will be solved. But for now, that's our best form of therapy, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully for you guys who are missing football just as much, you'll enjoy it as well. We've also got our FM network career on Sundays. The response to that's been really good, so thank you for those that have come along to that one. And we've got an awful lot of messages at the moment. Dorking Wanderers, we've had a really good start to the season. I'm really enjoying that save. I love the one club story. Same as last year with Torquay. I do like being in charge of everything, I can't lie. Summerskill in a Birmingham shirt. Right, we've got our first bad moment. Our goalkeeper Ryan Summerskill, another youth academy product. And they're talking about him going to Birmingham. Please don't sell him. Don't ruin all your hard work. Again, hands off warning to the media. Let's make sure that we can give as much as possible. If we can give a hint, hopefully it will be followed. The training camp squad, as everyone's back for pre-season, will include all the youth prospects as well. Demarai Gray still on duty and a few players in top condition. So we'll go for a week or so. It does lead to one of my biggest frustrations in pre-season, is that you don't manage to get all of the friendlies organised. So I have the director of football and the assistant manager, whoever it is in the background, to organise friendlies for the first team and 23s. But we don't seem to get enough of them. We only ever get 3 or 4 and they seem to only want to do them on Saturdays. I don't know what the harm is with sending an 11 or a backup team to a non-league side in midweek. Whatever it might be. Thank you for the new thumbs up on the video. I do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please do put a thumbs up on it. I hope you're enjoying the stream. I hope you're enjoying watching our director of football produce some magical work. Let's go and have a look at what friendlies have been agreed. Nothing yet, so we're a bit too soon for that. We'll give it another 3 or 4 days and then we may have to organise some ourselves. But thank you for joining along. Thank you for your support on the channel generally the last month or so. The views across the month has doubled nearly. The head coach seems to have gone through the roof since we've gone to Salford and then Burnley, and probably since the first live stream, to be honest. I hope you've noticed over the last month or so my video style's been far more relaxed and more natural, and actually doing the live streams has really helped with that. So I'm hoping that will continue long term. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for your support. We're hoping Neil Dewsnip can give us a treat this summer, as things seem to be going quite well, to be honest. And hopefully, as we move along this window, we'll get one or two more gems to add to the ones we've already got. We're still waiting for that deal on Lloyd Kelly, of course. It's going to be a very difficult one to see if we get it through. But, hopefully, we're going to have one or two moments of magic. I'm just getting down in the chat responding to a couple of you, so apologies for the slight delays here. As I've mentioned before, I haven't got the most high-tech setup in the world, so apologies for that. Dren, you like the look of Lloyd Kelly? I mean, I agree, to be honest. He looks a really decent player, and it's a position we need again, which is something important. We've got a work permit for Balogun here. It's been submitted the 24th of June, so hopefully that means another new deal, and fingers crossed it won't have a sell-on clause or a minimum fee release in it. Our stature in the game, I'm all over the place. Our stature in the game remains intact. To be fair, Burnley, what have they done? They've struggled in the Championship this year. Well, they did for the first half. Had they been relegated last season? Can't remember if they'd come down. No, they've been here a few years, so I'm guessing they're just losing that Premier League edge. So hopefully we can change that next year and get them back to the top level with some of their youngsters. But thank you everyone for joining along. Please do put a thumbs up on the video if you're new to it. I hope it is all going okay. It seems to be from my end. Obviously, as I mentioned, without the highest tech setup, I can't say if it's perfect or not, but hopefully there's no big technical issues. We're nearly at the end of June. We're actually flying through this one, so it'll probably be about an hour shorter than the last one, maybe just an hour and a half or so. And I'm hoping we'll have one or two more bits of magic before we get there yet. So fingers crossed. Neil Dewsnip and Jonathan Pepper combined. Two great names. Let's hope they can produce great actions. I think we've got the African Cup of Nations by the looks of it, which is causing slight delays. But as long as that Lloyd Kelly deal gets done, I won't complain whatsoever. Preeka's going to Bursaspor next week, so that'll be interesting as well, actually. Basagog as well. So will we get replacements for those? We don't really need them, but we've got a new deal as well. More good news. Sunday Balogun signs a new deal. Please don't have a sell-on clause. It doesn't. This is brilliant. I mean, it's a 4-year deal. This is the first one that's taken a real hit in the wage. He's over doubled his wages. He was on about 14 grand a week. And now I think he's on 33, is it? 33 he's on, yeah. Sorry, I was switching between the screens there. But a 4-year deal. No sell-on clause. No minimum fee release. I think we've got everything we could have wanted there. He wasn't even starting regularly when I came in, and he has been brilliant ever since. Sunday Balogun hopefully will be firing us to the Premier League. The new Championship season, we play relegated Watford on the opening day, promoted Portsmouth on the second day. In fact, our first 2 away games against promoted sides, so could go either way that one. But that's going to be a decent start. We've got Brighton, another relegated side on the final day. Certainly not going to be easy, and Palace away on Boxing Day. I mean, 3 of the hardest fixtures they are. 3.5 million in TV rights, a good first round Carabao Cup tie. Hopefully some of the youngsters can feature in that one. We are expected to win promotion, as we mentioned. The transfer budget increasing because we keep selling players. FA Cup, 4th round's a minimum. Carabao Cup, 3rd round's a minimum. We're going to reject all that because it just adds moves to the feed that we don't need to see. We've had a link terminated with an Australian club. Okay. And we're going to join the under-23 and under-18 league again. They're going to be absolutely crucial for us, particularly moving forward if we want to succeed with these young players. We have to be playing more regularly. They have to be playing midweek. If they don't come off the bench, they can play in the 23s. So all of those things are crucial for us. And they're the sort of things I'd recommend to keep on board. But thank you again for all of you that are joining me. I do hope you're enjoying the stream. If you haven't yet, please do put a thumbs up on it. If you've missed any of the start, don't worry. There will be a full stream replay afterwards, so you can catch up with the first couple of minutes while you were there. But I'm really hoping that we're going to get more magic here. We're nearly a month into the window. The big headline news, really, if you're just joining along, is that for the first time we've got a proactive director of football. He's making deals before we've lost players. He's replacing players that leave immediately. He's been sensible with his deals. He's not spending massive money. And things are looking really good. Too good to be true. He's pegged down loads of star players to new deals. None of them have sell-on fees. Everything's looking really comfortable. So I'm delighted with how things are going. I really hope that you're enjoying it as well. We've got even the friendlies are working out now. This is the assistant manager, John Underwood. You haven't seen him for a while. He's really solid. Just a solid assistant manager. Nothing special. A bit like myself, really. He's just solid across the board. So it looks like now we've got loads of friendlies. So the one thing I was complaining about never happening has happened very easily this summer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 friendlies. Most of them on the road, protecting the pitch. Lots of money coming in, no fee and lots of income. I mean, we can't be arguing with that. Lots of players getting a slight wage rise. And even on the pitch, things are looking good at the minute. So hopefully we won't get any major injuries in pre-season. Hopefully the director of football won't change his tune and sell anyone. And hopefully we'll have 1 or 2 more signings to come. We've got a couple leaving the club. And just as I say that, we've got our first disappointment. Lloyd Kelly has rejected the wage here. So we offered him 14 grand a week. He's on 14. What's he really expecting? He's moving to a similar club at a similar level. Could he really have expected a bigger deal? I mean, if he wants more than he's worth, I'm not going to be upset about him not joining. What it does mean is we'll probably get another bid for one later on, or maybe they'll go back to him after, who knows. But the first disappointment, the first hitch in the road for the director of football, let's see how he reacts when things doesn't go to plan. But on the flip side of that, the head of youth development busy again. He's going to make an offer for a player called Hamilton from Chelsea for nothing. 19-year-old Lee Hamilton, 2-star ability, 4-star potential. A central midfielder who's out of contract. Not got a great personality, so we'll probably put him in the 23s and get him in a mentoring group. But another good young signing, 19 years old, Northern Irish under-21 international. And if we can sort that personality out quick enough, he could become a really decent player. So certainly one that for free is worth taking a gamble on. He's one of those, they don't know, but he might want to do it. He might want to become a star. It's just whether his attitude is right. So hopefully that will change as we go along. Leon Lowry training really well. Good to see the youngsters there. And Callum Bonner in there too. Barry Gorbel, not really featured for us. He will be going back in a week or so. So thank you to him for his service. He'll go back to United. And things looking very good at the moment, despite that one slight hitch in the plan. Dren, you like the Carabao Cup? I can't lie, I quite like it as well. I mean, as a Luton fan, it's the only big competition we've won, although it was just before my lifetime. But it's a great competition when you're in this sort of save. The same as I said with Torquay last year. When you go up to the Premier League, there's never a guarantee. I mean, we're in nearly in May now, and we've not reached the Premier League yet with Dorking Wanderers. So, I mean, in that sort of save, I see it as a great opportunity to win a big trophy. I mean, in this one, it's a chance for you to get on the board. Winning a Carabao Cup, it gets you into Europe, and that gets you attention from abroad. The Europa League really valued in competitions like Serie A, like Ligue 1, like La Liga, and to be able to get a decent club there because you've won a Carabao Cup, it can make such a difference. So that's why I always take the Carabao Cup and FA Cup seriously where possible. And in a one-club series like Dorking, it's so important. I think with Torquay, was it the first competition we won was the FA Cup or Carabao Cup? Last season with Newcastle, I'm sure it was the Carabao Cup was the first thing we ever won. It's definitely the first final we were in. And even that, just get used to playing at Wembley. It's something important, so I couldn't agree more. But let me know what you think of the signings as they're coming in. Hopefully we'll have a new bid for a left-back soon. Thank you so much for all of you that keep joining along. I can see the number of viewers creeping up again, so thank you so much for your support. If you haven't already, please do put a thumbs up on it. It does make such a difference. And again, an apology that it is Tuesday morning. I know it's not the most convenient time. We've got another offer. We'll get to that in a second. But unfortunately, as I've mentioned before, Tuesday's my day off work. And at the moment, the NHS has to be the priority. So Tuesdays is the only day that we'll get streams. Maybe Sundays occasionally too. But it does depend when the director of football transfer window's coming along. Because in the Dorking one, I'm too invested. I wouldn't be able to get involved as much in the chat. And I know that would annoy people. So I want to try and get one where I can interact a bit. Here, I don't do a great deal. I react to signings. And this one is a big money one. And I'm a bit concerned because the star ability doesn't match the price that he's trying to pay there. So let me know what you think of this as we go in to look at him. Fran Villalba, 29-year-old from Birmingham. My other worry is if they sell him to us, do they expect that we're then going to give them the goalkeeper summer skill they wanted? He's been at Birmingham for 9 years, played at Numancia before that, came through at Valencia where he played for the B team a lot. I'm not sure about this one. Natural fitness is brilliant. He's got flair, great technique. I mean, he's a good number 10. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be a very good number 10 and he will be involved. But I'm a little bit worried because we haven't had a natural number 10 and he may well suit us. But his stamina's not great. His work rate's not great. I don't know that he's going to suit the style of play we've got. Another one that can't do anything in the air. He's tiny. He can't jump. That's not particularly helpful. But we haven't got a natural number 10, so can I really argue? I mean, I did this with Monchu in January on deadline day, and then I just ended up getting egg on my face. So I feel like I should stop doubting him at this point. But as it is, Fran Villalba, 9.25 million. That's my only concern. We've offered £1,000 a week to Hamilton, the youngster from Chelsea. That's obviously our head of youth development. They're going for one each at the moment. We've sold a lot of season tickets already. Things are looking good. Things are looking really good. We're just about to head into July. That's when Basagog and Prika both leave. And then I'm imagining we'll see a bit more action. But we've got loads of good young attacking players, so no real worries if there isn't. It's more of a polished transfer window, this one. Rather than being exciting, rather than being hectic, having loads of players in and out, it's just polished, it's organised, and it's sensible. They're taking calculated risks on young players, and they're able to work really hard in terms of getting in first team pros. And although Villalba's not a player I would have naturally picked out, I've got a feeling he will be a decent fit for the club, just as Monchu was before. There's plenty of them about. So hopefully, that'll be the case as we move forward. So let me know what you think of Villalba. Let me know what you think of the other lads as we make offers as well, as I think the next week's going to be quite busy. We're off on another training camp. I'm sure we've had that message before, but there's a few youth prospects included too. Once everyone comes back from the loans and the young players have been released in July, we will then start to look at the others as well. Are there any other young players that have come back and are maybe ready? We've had the offer accepted for Villalba. The director of football's offered him £25,000 a week, a slight increase on what he's on now. So hopefully he'll accept that. We just want to have an organised squad for the season, so I'm not going to argue too much about the details of a player. I just really hope that it'll be good. Dren, I know in real life that the first half of the season Villalba was good, then he went out on loan. Fair enough. I mean, he's a decent player. I mean, I'm certainly not arguing he's going to improve our first team squad. There's no arguments with that whatsoever. He's a very good player. It's just, is he worth the 10 million? But then, I had this argument with Monchu. It's a position where we need a player. What I think it's more likely to mean is that the big out is going to be Manu Garcia. Don't forget there was an offer accepted for him in January from one of the Moscow clubs. About 15 million with add-ons. And he rejected it over wages. So if a big one comes from Spain or Italy, maybe even a top tier in England, I guess it gives him the leeway to sell him. So we have to consider that as well. We've got young Ross Marsh coming back from loan in central midfield. He'll be able to fill in a place in the squad if need be. And he's one of those coming back, as is Alan Campbell, another central midfielder. Zamani, a good player, but hasn't got a work permit, which is a bit of a pain. But yeah, otherwise looking pretty good. So I think he's a good player. I agree with you. It's just the 10 million that's putting me off. Hamilton, he looks like he can be brilliant. It's just the attitude. Players generally that are unambitious, that have low determination, they don't generally improve quick enough. And it's always been a problem. So that's why the mentoring groups are so important. But will it work quick enough for him? He's already 19. Maybe a late bloomer, but have we got the time to invest in that in a Journeyman series? I don't know. Thank you to all of you that are coming along. I can see the group viewers are creeping up again, so thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please do put a thumbs up on it. It does make such a difference. We're moving into July now. There's a couple more going out, as we know, and we'll start to see some of the pre-season results as well. So we'll go back and look and see what the TNS result was. And we've got another former club on this channel, Torquay United, the FM19 one club story. Probably one of my favourites so far. I really enjoyed that save. And Dorking, we're starting to get to that stage with them now as well. But let's see if we can beat them too. A really good month to start the transfer window. If you're new along, don't worry. There is a full stream replay available afterwards. So don't worry if you've missed anything. Please do put a thumbs up on it if you're enjoying it. And I'm sure there's still going to be a few more bits of action yet. So do stick along for July and see if Neil Dusnip can continue to create his heroic status. He's going to deserve a statue at this stage. let's skip ahead. We're almost into July. This bit will probably take the longest as all of the players out of contract get released. Thank you again to all of you joining. I do appreciate it very much. And we've got a signing. It's a head of youth development signing, and it is Lee Hamilton. So a couple of you saying he looks okay, and actually his potential's even higher now. So I'm going to add him to the training ground squad. And do you know what? Have we got mentoring groups available? I can't remember what I did with this one last. It's been a few days since I played this. We did, but we didn't have any of the new youngsters in there. So who else have we got? The new signings we've got to consider as well. Damari Gray, he's fairly professional. I presume he'll have an influence on the group. So let's see if we can make a mentoring group for some of these youngsters. I mean, the best ones, Donal Furlong. We haven't got any brilliant personalities. We've got lots of good ones. Lots of good experienced players, but no brilliant ones. So Demarai Gray, yes, average, fairly professional. Glenn Stevens, resolute. He could be one for the future. So out of the youngsters, we've got Leon Lowry. He can go in there. I think that'll make a big difference for him. Andy May, balanced. He'll go in there. Anyone else? Bonner's professional. Dimitri's determined. Looks pretty good to me. And then the other one we're going to bring up is Lee Hamilton. We'll put him in the senior squad for pre-season, and then we'll go and put him in that mentoring group in a minute. Hopefully, you'll agree that he looks a decent signing. Apologies for the slight veer off into mentoring groups there, rather than the transfer window. But it is one of the things you have to be quick on with new signings. If you leave it a month, you leave it 2 months, you may have missed some of your window. Players generally stop improving mentally at 21, 22 in terms of those sorts of things. The personality's not going to change drastically. So we've got to try and get them in early. And at 19 for a new signing, that's the time we take advantage. So we will have a few of the youngsters leaving the club. Lots of loans in and out ending by the looks of it. And 2 players in Basagog and Precut obviously moving on the 1st of July. And I'm guessing that will mean more activity. We still haven't had another offer for a left back since Lloyd Kelly left. So that's something that we've got to bear in mind. I'm sure they'll go in for another one at some point. And otherwise, it's will they go in for a new striker? For me, I'm happy with May and Lowry, but I'm not sure what they'll do. So Gorball's gone back from his loan. 5 youngsters have been released, including Luke Banks, who was the one linked with Newport County a couple of weeks ago. We've had a rejected loan bid for one of our young keepers. He's not bad. He's in the under-23s. He's a decent keeper. I mean, he's got potential. He's not really going to feature for us because Summerskill's there. Slick as the sub-keeper. I'd rather loan a youngster out to get experience. But things looking pretty good, to be honest. I mean, let's go and look at the squad again. Callum Bonner's dropped to 2-star. Lee Hamilton's now in there, so we should be able to add him to our mentoring group. In fact, we might need to put him in the other one with the keepers because we haven't got a third player in there. So as he's less important at the moment and Summerskill's more professional, let's get him in that one if we can. Where is he? I've lost him already there. Am I going insane? There he is, Lee Hamilton. And we'll get Ross Marsh in there as well, you know. Ross Marsh, a young, unambitious player, light-hearted, sorry. Not the most determined, not the biggest character. Summerskill should be able to help improve that. So those are our 3 mentoring groups for now. Obviously the top one's the big dog. Young Coleman and Higgins trying to get involved. Monchu working with them. Furlong working with them with a significant influence. They're our priority. They're first teamers. And as much as we love bringing through all these youngsters, we'd love to do it, and in our one club save, we'd prioritise them. Don't forget, this is still a journeyman story, and we're not in charge of transfers, so any of them could be sold on. Any of them could reject a new deal, and we could do nothing about it. So we have to be able to take that into perspective and focus on the first team as well. But we move into July after a brilliant June. I'm sure you'll agree. Obviously bringing in a couple of players. We'll reflect on them all at the end of the window. Thank you to those of you that are coming along and joining. I can see the number of viewers creeping up yet again, so thank you so much. It really is heartening to see. It's only my 2nd ever live stream. I hope that doesn't show. I'm sure it probably does though, so be polite with that answer. But thank you for coming along. I do appreciate it. I'd love to do more streams in the future. I'm even thinking for FM21 to maybe do a live stream save. So let me know what you think of that. Let me know what you think of all the series on the channel. And if you haven't already, please put a thumbs up on it. It really does make such a difference. So let's move along. We're into July. We've got a former club on the channel, Torquay United, to come up against. And a couple more big first team players leaving the club. They were only backups last year, but they're ones that I'm sure will be replaced. So 9 o'clock, the 1st of July. And we've got a signing as well. So let's see what's happened with Preca. 50% of his profits gone to Malmo. I mean, they've done very well in that deal because £2.8 million they get. We've sold him for 7 though. He's a club favourite. Is he? He's a striker who played here for 7 years. Scored about 1 in 4.5. I mean, he must have played like Emil Heskey with the assist before to be that popular. He was rubbish for me. Basagog, he wasn't really doing much. I'm not worried about that. He's 31 as well, so he wasn't going to get any better. Important dates in July, loads of friendlies coming up. And Villalba joins the club. So those of you that were talking about him, let me know what you think, as Fran Villalba is joining the club. Here he comes. Let's go and have a look at him. Apologies for the very brief delay there. I think we had a little bit of difficulty with the Virgin Media internet, which has been problematic for a while. About 24 hours now it's been problematic. But it was only a brief delay and we're back again. So hopefully it didn't cause too much disruption to you. Let's go and meet Fran Villalba. He is the big man. He's the important one. And he is our first true number 10 to play in that position. So let's have a look at him. 9.25 million. 24 grand a week. 3-star ability, could improve slightly. Let's add him to the training ground squad. Let's get Garcia to welcome him. Hopefully he won't then leave. Let's add all these players to the squad, including the returning Campbell. 15 players. Who am I missing that's over 23? I'm going to get told off because I'm missing someone here. Lewis Richardson in the 23s. Apparently these guys can play now. There's nothing to say they're ineligible. Or is it just because the next games are friendly? I don't know. Trevor O'Callaghan there too. We will go and look at the 23s in a minute. But let's look at Fran Villalba. Here he is. He's a decent player. To be honest, I think the director of football's probably right again. Let me know what you think. But 3-star ability, a proper number 10. He's got that touch of flair, that technique. He's not going to help much defensively or in the air, I can promise that. Why does he dive into tackles? He's actually quite good in a tackle, to be fair, so I can't argue with him. But he tries killer balls, he arrives late in the area, and he's a good finisher. That combination of traits is probably pretty good. So I'm not as worried about that. I think it's going to be the Moncho effect again. Far better than I ever thought. Although, interestingly, Garcia's still rated better in that position. Glenn Stevens on a par, of course, so you can rotate with him. But a good signing. No complaints at all. Let's have a look at what the director of football or assistant thinks. So Pep has rated him a bit better and he's got the best judgment of ability. So maybe he's the one I should be trusting here. Indrajit Kane, I hope I've pronounced your name right. Thank you for joining in the chat. Thank you for coming and watching. Really do appreciate it and I'm glad you enjoy the content. Thank you so much for the kind words. I do appreciate it. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream as well and hopefully we'll have a bit more magic as we go along. So far, things looking very good. Thank you to all the new people watching the stream. The viewers creeping up yet again. Please do put a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. It does make such a difference. Jam on, I agree. Villalba looks a solid signing. It's exactly the word we need. He's got those moments of magic. He's very solid. He's not going to be the best player in the league, but he's going to do a good job for us. And overall, this window so far, we just can't complain. We really can't. 4 players coming in, 2 youngsters, Damari Gray and now Villalba. Basagog's left, Preca's left, Tavares has left and Jarosinski. So the only real hole is this left back that we haven't replaced. Steve Hay as a backup's not a disaster, but I guess for winning promotion from the Championship we could do with one. So that's the one that I'll probably hope for. He may go for a striker if he doesn't trust the youngsters. But let's, as promised, quickly look at the 23s. We've got some really good players in there, but I'm pretty sure that Zamani can't play. He hasn't got the work permit. Let me just go and have a look. I'm not sure if there's a way I can find out here. I don't know. I really don't know if there's a way. I'd like to because he'd be a good player, a natural replacement for Basagog. Let me know if there is a way I can find out if he's got the deal already. Who else is in here? Trevor O'Callaghan again looks decent, but probably will have to go out on loan because I'm going to prioritise the ones that came through here. And for this guy, he came from Cork City, so he's not a product of the Youth Academy. And I know that seems a bit bitter, it seems a bit harsh, but I'm sure most managers would do the same. You prioritise the ones that have come through at yours. Dimitris Pitharoulis, I think that is, probably wrong. 2-star ability, 4-star potential. Came through at Barnet. He looks a decent player. Do you know what? I know his star rating's not the best, but he's got key stats in key areas. I quite like him. so he might be involved later on as well. Ross Marsh is in the 23s coming back from loan. No, he's already in the senior squad, that's fine. So it's just Zamani really. I'd happily have him involved, but I'm waiting to see if he's got a contract or not. If he can't play because he's only on the youth work permit, then unfortunately his skill is pointless. But on we go, let's see how we get on against Torquay. Of course, we're not playing the friendlies. Our assistant manager will be in charge of that one. Here we go then. Finances secure. I don't know what the TNS result was. I didn't look. 3-1 victory. Jack Vaughan got sent off. Edmonds, May, Hassan, Higgins. 3 first-team players. They went very strong there. Right, we've got players being released in England. Mo Salah, Tammy Abraham from United. Oh, that's probably pushing it. But go on, Director of Football, if you want to. Any other younger players? Amin Bassi. No, he's not great. I mean, there's not too many stars there that are under 30. But if they want to go for Tammy Abraham, good luck to them. Does anyone want him yet? No one. That's really weird. If this was my save and I was in charge of the transfers, contracts and staffing, I'd be going straight for him. But as it is, I have to resist the temptation. In terms of players out of contract, lots of them at the end of this season, but no younger players that are really good, apart from probably Ross Marsh. He's a decent young player, but doesn't want to sign a deal. Oh, he's got an asking price of 15 million. I presume the Director of Football set that. 15 million, there's 2 clubs interested, so it looks like he might be on his bike. Otherwise, Furlong's 31, he's the oldest of the first team players. Conor Gallagher's now very much a backup, complains that he's not starting enough games. Loads of staff out of contract and youth players too, but otherwise, I don't think we've got any cause for complaint. Thank you for all of you coming along and watching. I'm hoping with those 2 players leaving, we're going to have a few more deals in a minute. So let's see how it goes as we move along. Hopefully not many of you are on Virgin Media, or you're probably having the same problems I have the last day or so. I don't want to slag them off too much, but it hasn't been particularly pleasant the last day. But thank you for all of you persisting and watching. I hope you're enjoying the stream. And I really hope this Director of Football's continuing to provide entertainment, because so far he's been really brilliant for us. All of the new deals, which we have to take into account, they're magical moments. Keeping the key players is just as important as signing new ones. So hopefully we'll have more of that as we go along. But as it is, 1st of July, things looking good. Oh no, we've got an injury, and it's a new signing who's injured. Oh, I don't want to look. Andy, you love Tammy Abraham as well. I mean, his stats are good there, but the fact that he's played 18 games for England, he's probably not going to come to the Championship after playing for Chelsea and United. I mean, we can only cross our fingers that he's spotted and made an offer for, but I'm not going to get too excited just yet. Let's put it that way. Indra G, you should live stream more often. That's certainly the plan. FM21, I'll do it regularly for sure. And obviously it is the sort of thing that supports the channel. It brings more new viewers in. As I said, working in the NHS, it's something I love and it's something I will do long term. But probably this has made me realise that doing it full time is going to be very difficult for 40, 50 years, however long we have to work now. It's going to be very difficult. So it's something I would love to improve this channel, make it part of my full-time job. Not all of it, I'd still love to do other work and keep my hand in, but I would love to make it part of my job, and I know live streaming would be an important part of that. So thank you for your support, and it's certainly something I'll try to do more often in the future. And in the meantime, summer transfer windows from this save are the ideal time to do it. So let's have a look at the Manager Monthly summary. They're a bit worried that we've sold Jarozinski. Again, we're being judged by the board now for things we haven't done. But they are pleased with the financial aspect of Basagog, which we had no say in. So goes both ways, that one. Both satisfied, so it's not costing us anything. The squad dynamics looking good. Any of the new players, Villalba's already influential. Demari Gray's already very influential, but he has picked up a knock. I don't really want to look. Oh, that's fine. 1 to 3 days. Just a tight groin. Troubles, rest assured, they are not there. We're playing away to Torquay. It's the 1st of July, and it's a former club from the channel, of course, so let's hope we'll be able to produce some magic. In fact, you're actually right there, Jamon. I didn't think of that. Abraham released at 29. Nothing happened with injuries. You say hopefully, but he still had really good attributes, and his physicals weren't awful, so I can't assume that he did. As it is, we've narrowly beaten Torquay, but Villalba did get a goal. That's a positive sign. Another injury, though. Oh, 5 to 6 weeks for Glenn Stevens. Probably missed the first week or two of the year. We'll try and talk to him. focus on the recovery. He won't let it get the better of him. Good lad. But you're absolutely right. Let's go and have a look at Tammy Abraham. I didn't think of that. From my selfish point of view, I was just thinking, could we sign him? I suppose his pace has dropped slightly, but I don't remember it being that great in Football Manager anyway. He played 15 games for United last year, 10 off the bench. Hadn't really played for them regularly at all, after joining for 67 million. Geez, Chelsea did well out of that. Let's have a look at his injuries. Not last season. The season before he had a 6-month injury, damaged cruciate ligaments. But then this season he's been largely fit. So it's the only serious injury he's ever had. Other than that, he's not really had much in his career. And he's still been available playing games. So it's a really strange one. I just wanted to see last season. Did he play in Europe as well? 1 continental game, 2 in the Cups. His average rating was excellent. His goal ratio is excellent. I mean, he averages a goal a start. So I'm really surprised. And what I'm more surprised about, you think of the teams at the bottom end of the Premier League that struggle for goals, that no one wants to go in for him. The fact that he's not wanted is really bizarre to me. So I completely agree that it's strange. And it doesn't seem like injuries have completely derailed his career. He's only had the 1. I can just see we've brought up the hour mark on the stream, sorry. So thank you to everyone who's been along and stuck with it. I really do appreciate it. We're probably about halfway through the window now. And obviously we've got all the signings coming in to enjoy. We're still waiting on a new left back since Lloyd Kelly rejected us. We've obviously got a striker that's left the club too. We've got a few new signings. And I can see that Fulham have made an offer for Conor Gallagher. So let's see if it's been accepted. Hopefully it's a good offer, and it has. No. I mean, to be fair, it's 625 grand, so it should be rejected. Well done, Neil. He's worth 1.5 million. Why are they offering that? That's derisory. Offer 1.5 million, you can have him. Gray and Villalba are going to be unveiled. 2 first-team signings that are very decent. We hope they can make big contributions. It'll be a lift for everyone at the club. I'm not committing to Gray's burst position yet. There's loads of money to spend. I've got great respect for Damari Gray. And I didn't even ask one question about Villalba. That's a little bit disrespectful in my book. But on we go. We won't complain about the media because everything's going pretty well at the moment. I'm still waiting for that bombshell moment where something goes wrong. But thank you to all of you that are coming along and joining. I can see the viewers again. It keeps creeping up. It's so heartwarming to see. So thank you for coming along and watching. If you are enjoying it and you haven't yet, please do put a thumbs up on it. Of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you're new along. We've got daily content from this series and my One Club Save with Dorking Wanderers. And then on Sunday, a couple of different things as well. A real football series, Review the 92, talking about the football stadiums we visited across the country. And also we've got our FM20 network career at the moment. Something a bit different. I've never done a network career before and I've really enjoyed it. So hopefully you have watching it as well. It seems to have gone down really well, so thank you for coming along. But this summer window is going a bit too well at the moment. Our first game's on TV, so it means we've got one more day to enjoy of this window. And there's more scout reports coming in as well. So surely that means offers are imminent. I mean, we've got a squad we can compete with on the 2nd of July, which is probably the first time that's happened in this series. So I'm certainly not going to criticise the director of football. But I would like it if he could give us 1 or 2 more bits of magic. Stuck in the Championship. Comment from Deadly. Not so much. I mean, I guess we're stuck in the Championship in the grand scheme of the save, because we went to Charlton, got them up to the playoffs, then got sacked a little bit harshly. Went to Salford, who were already inevitably going down, brought them straight back up and started well, and then moved to Burnley, who were in a relegation zone. They were struggling, they were far lower in the league than Salford, but obviously had all this potential and some brilliant players. So we almost got to the playoffs despite being in a relegation battle. And I've just been stopped in my tracks by a familiar name. I'll come back to him in a minute. That I'm very, very happy about. The fee is brilliant, the player is brilliant. Let me know before I mention it, do you remember this name? If you've been following the series for a few years, you will. If not, you'll get an introduction in a minute. What a player to be coming in. Neil Dusnip is making himself more and more of a hero every time. But yeah, with Burnley, I think, if all goes to plan, this will be our last season stuck at Championship level. Because we should well be getting promotion this season. It's our expectation, and the squad that our director of football's building is suggesting it's realistic. So let's talk about the man coming in. 22-year-old Ian Wardley for 250 grand. If you haven't said, sorry, I've almost lost my words there. If you haven't said where he's come from, I just got distracted. The stream obviously a little bit behind, 30 seconds or so behind, so I won't have seen your comments yet. Ian Wardley we had on loan at Charlton. He's a backup left back who can play right back as well. He's brilliant. I don't know if you remember, we had a Carabao Cup tie at the start of the season. He scored a screamer. I'm sure it was in the Cup. He scored an absolute rocket, and there's no indication of why. His finishing's 4, his long shot's 3. Doesn't like going forward too much. But physically, he's brilliant. Mentally, he's solid enough. He's very brave, a good tackler. And having him here permanently means we can work on him. We can get him in a mentoring group. Furlong's the perfect role model for him. A fullback, more experienced. England under-21 international. And if we can get him in for 240 grand, that would be an absolute steal. So again, Neil Dusnip making himself the hero and that left back that we need so desperately. Let's see what our result is. We've got Sunderland today. Andy, is he better than Lloyd Kelly? It depends what you mean, really. I mean, defensively and physically, yes. He's not as versatile in the areas we need. I know he can play right back naturally as well, as we beat Sunderland via a young Jack Vaughan goal. But he's probably not quite as good all round. So going forward as a fullback, you can see he's nowhere near as good. His attacking attributes are poor, but then my biggest memory of him is sawing a screamer. So what do the attributes mean? But as a defensive fullback, he's very good. And as a backup player, he'll probably be more comfortable doing that for a year or two. Having an experienced backup player is always quite difficult. So having a young one doing that's great. And to be honest, at a younger age, it gives us a bigger sell-on fee. It gives us a bigger potential. And it gives us a player we can mould a bit more. So maybe not better than Kelly immediately, but possibly a decent player. A really decent signing. And for the money, we're talking 240 grand instead of 4.7 million. And the wages will probably be slightly lower as well. So overall, in terms of a deal, yes. But as a player, probably not just yet. Probably just below his standard at the moment. Both same star ability, so not much in it. We've offered him 11 grand a week. That's a worry. We had the same with the other left back. He's earning more than that at City. I don't know he's going to accept that. Only as a squad player, that's a good thing. But that's made me a little bit concerned. I can see the number of viewers has reached a high for the stream, so thank you so much for joining along. If you haven't already, please put a thumbs up on it. Get involved in the chat. It's been really upgraded today. Loads of you getting involved. I do appreciate it. And I guess it's just because we've had quite an active window. A good director of football, lots of signings, obviously means more interaction about it. So thank you so much for all of you getting involved. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe. There'll be a full live stream replay afterwards, so don't worry if you've missed anything. But we are flying through July now, and things are starting to look really, really good. We've still not had that massive bombshell, the negative news we were expecting. Of course, we've had an injury to Glenn Stevens, who just missed the start of the season. We've also had Lloyd Kelly reject us, of course, but that may well be a silver lining at the moment, because it looks like Ian Wardley is going to turn out to a blessing in disguise. So hopefully, you'll all agree, having seen Ian Wardley, and fingers crossed he won't reject the deal with us. So we're now into the 5th of July. We've got Wilkinson staying, a goalkeeping coach from the under-23s. He's doing a lot of work off the pitch as well, and that's given me great pleasure. Having a good coaching team is crucial. I've spoken about it in detail a couple of times, particularly in the Dorking Wanderer save, how much off-the-pitch influence helps when you've got young players. And to have him here, and have young coaches, and have a big squad of them as well, so no one's overworked, is really crucial. But we are flying through pre-season and everything is looking absolutely fantastic. Let me know what you think of the window so far. 2 young signings, 2 first team signings and 4 or 5 backup players leaving the club. But we've not lost any of those stars. In fact, most of them have even got new deals. So hopefully you'll agree that it's been a good window so far. 1 or 2 more bits of magic and Neil could go down in the history books for us. Thank you so much to everyone who's joining along. I really do appreciate it. It still continues to go up, the number of people watching. Again, slight apologies, it's a Tuesday morning. I know it's not the ideal time for a live stream. But as I mentioned before, it's the only day off my day job, bar Sunday, which is sometimes a bit more difficult. So I hope you can understand that. If you can't catch it and you're watching this live stream replay in the evening or another day, thank you just as much. I do appreciate you coming along. Hopefully you'll enjoy this window because there's plenty going on and we're into another pre-season friendly. So the main thing at the moment is avoiding injuries. Hopefully our assistant will be sensible and hopefully we'll be getting wins. We win 1-0 and there's no injury news. That's what we like to see. And it's Alan Campbell who's come back from a loan as well. So plenty of players making a difference here. With the young players in the squad and the experienced ones coming back, I feel like this could be a really special season. I don't know about you. I think, and I don't want to say this too soon because I know I'm going to get shot down in the comments if I don't. I've said that we've got to win promotion. It's in the club vision, we've got to do it. We're expected to get promotion to the Premier League. There's no alternative. The fans expect it, and then we've got to try and remain in the Premier League. But I think we can win the league with this squad. As long as we don't lose any stars, don't get any big injuries in pre-season. I know I've probably just kiboshed the whole stream, but I really think we might win the league. Now, I can see Marsh is unhappy here, so I'm presuming his offer's been rejected. 1.3 million? You've got to be joking. So he wants to discuss his future. I'm going to ask Neil to do it. Neil's going to agree with him. Whatever he says goes at this point. He's probably got better judgment than me. He hasn't resolved his unhappiness and he wants to leave the club. So with 1 year left on his contract, that's probably going to be an issue. And again, that 15 million asking price seems a bit bizarre. Let me know what you think. What's going on with Ross Marsh? How our director of football's doing? It's probably the first thing he hasn't been able to resolve all summer. But only 4 weeks to the season to go now. And we've just got a big pre-season on our toes. So hopefully, 1 or 2 more good results, 1 or 2 more good signings, and I'll be a very happy bunny in Thursday's episode. Don't forget today, this episode is instead of the start to the season, so it'll be a video available to watch afterwards for those coming along at the normal time of 4:30. But on Thursday, we will have our start to the season. We'll have a quick roundup of the action from this one, and then we will have our first game of the season. I'm not sure. It was Watford. It's against the relegated side, one of the favourites for the title. It's going to be a big test for us early on. So hopefully we'll be able to get a good result in it. But thank you to everyone who's watching. If you're enjoying it, please do put that thumbs up on there. I am really grateful for your support with this. And Jack Vaughan seems to be struggling with injury a bit, but he has scored in a couple of games already. So maybe one of these youngsters is just going to come out the blue and surprise us this year. Hopefully there'll be more Wayne Rooney than Federico Makeda, but we'll wait and see. One in the inbox. We draw at Lincoln, 2-2. Coleman and Orellana score, but no injuries. That's the most important thing. I'm not going to get too worried just yet. If we lose the odd game, we draw the odd game. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. As long as we don't get big injuries, we'll be all right. Thank you to everyone who's still coming along. Hopefully we'll have that left back coming across the line soon. It looks like those deals are on the verge of happening. If Wardley comes in, it'll be another new player. A player that we've had in another club before. It's the sort of thing we like to see. So hopefully he'll be joining the club imminently and he won't reject us due to that lower wage. Let's have a look. Game saving, so we've still got a moment to go. We're not going to have that signing just yet. Fingers crossed it's going to get done though, because I think that's the last piece of the jigsaw. Apologies again as I've just dipped out for a minute because of the Virgin Media ongoing internet problems. I hope they're not affecting you as well. Thank you to everyone who's involved in the comments. Get down, let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be about this save. It can be about one of the others if you're watching those. It can be about a different series, something you'd like to see. Or just a question in general. I've got no problems with it. I'll try and answer the best I can. But as we come towards 3 weeks to the season now, I'm really happy with how things are going. We're flying along. The director of football is finally giving us a peaceful summer. So many ones have been painful. We've been waiting till the last minute. I mean, that Salford one, we had youngsters on the bench. At Kettering at the start of the series, we didn't even have a bench. And this time, we've just got a comfortable squad. I mean, we can't ask for much more, really, can we? I'd be greedy if I was complaining because we didn't get one player, if we didn't do this or that. Andy, if he does go, the director of football has been putting off some great signings, so fingers crossed he could pull something out of the bag. I mean, I agree, to be honest. With Ross Marsh, he's only a backup. It's more because I want to keep the players who are homegrown at the club. But I don't think it's going to be a disaster if he goes. He's 4th or 5th choice. He's behind Campbell. He's behind Manu Garcia. He's behind Orellana, Monchu. He's probably behind Conor Gallagher. So to be honest, he's probably 6th choice for 2 positions. So I don't think we need to lose any sleep if he doesn't stay. But I want to make sure we get our value for him, because otherwise I'm going to be very annoyed. But I will trust Neil Dewsnip. Whatever he says goes. He's not failed me so far, and I'm sure he won't as we keep going. All of the youngsters training really well, which suggests that the mentoring groups and the individual training's working. And they're just as important as the transfers coming in. Developing youngsters so you can save money, make profit is just as important. And as we continue through pre-season, it's quieting down a bit. We're just waiting for this left back. We've not really had anything more from the head of youth development. I don't know if he'll try and find 1 or 2 more. And it doesn't look like, unfortunately, he spotted Tammy Abraham. So, as it is, we're just going to have to wait and see. We've got an under-23 game as well, so as long as there's not a first team fixture, which there isn't, I'm going to do the usual process. Make them all fit for 45 minutes, and I can rotate them as much as they want. Walsall next up for the first team, Ipswich under-23s for the backup team. But I cannot complain about a single thing so far. Couple of little injuries you'd expect, but otherwise it has been a brilliant summer. The difference to this one and Salford, we're not having to hunt for a job. We're not having to desperately hope that we get signings in to fill the bench. It's just a really relaxed transfer window. Not hectic, not chaotic, and not concerning really. So all good news so far. And we're now within the first 3 weeks before the season. We've got a massive game against Watford, a club that came down from the Premier League. We will have a look at the season preview to see where they're expected to finish compared to us. But I'll leave that until the signings are done, because obviously that will change things drastically. But as it stands, I can only praise Neil so far. He's been absolutely brilliant. I hope you agree. It makes a change to have a good director of football, I've got to be honest. We've got to set the pitch. I thought that was going to be a signing for a minute. I was getting a bit excited. But we'll keep it as it was. It worked well since we joined last year. And let's skip ahead and see if that deal gets done. Ian Wardley is the one I want. Hopefully he'll be joining imminently. Thank you again to everyone who's joining along. Please do put a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. Make sure you check out all the other content on the channel as well. A couple of new series going, the FM20 Network Career and the Stadium Review series. And this one and the Dorking Save really coming to exciting points now. And I've got a feeling if this summer stays as it is, as I said, we are going to be chasing promotion pretty comfortably. 4 messages. Come on, one of them's got to be a good one. No, all boring. Loads of season tickets sold, which is useful. But other than that, I guess we played the under-23 game with no injury, so that's got to be a positive. But I do worry that they've been overloaded a bit in pre-season. We've had lots more friendlies than we would normally, although there is a big gap after the next one, so maybe it's part of the fitness regime. And to be fair, we've only had 1 injury so far. No other news just yet. Demarai Gray in the North American Gold Cup Best 11, sorry. Bit of a mouthful, that one. But that's a good signing from our new player. 31 years of age, a well-known pro. Obviously, plenty of positives with him. But otherwise, I mean, it's just going too well, isn't it? Is there not something that's bound to go wrong? It just seems to be going too perfectly. I'm sure this Walsall game will probably bring a horrible injury or something like that, but fingers crossed. It's all just going really well at the moment. I don't know what else to say. I'm delighted. Normally I've got problems to talk about. And not only have I not got problems, I've got another signing. So let me go to this under-23s. I'm just going to set everyone to 45 again. Ian Wardley has taken a pay cut to join us from Manchester City. £240,000 for a 22-year-old who's played for England under-21s. I mean, this is ridiculous. 3-star ability, 3.5 potential. I mean, not only is he competing with Lloyd Kelly, who we were trying to sign, Jonathan Pepper, who's got a great judge of ability and potential, thinks he's already just better than Elias Cobalt, who was very good for us last year. I mean, I'm going to stick with Cobalt because he's one of the few players that can head the ball for us. But Wardley is going to be a star. I mean, what a signing that is. How has he got him for 240 grand? He'll probably get sold on for like 10 or 20 million. I mean, that's absolutely brilliant. Well done, Director of Football. You continue to be a hero. There's no minimum fee releases. There's no caveats in the deal. We've got to pay a bit of the profit from the sell-on, which obviously will be humongous if he does ever go. And we're going to chase in Summerskill. Keep your hands off. He's our number 1, and he's staying our number 1. I'm not sure why he's worth so little. He's a very good keeper at this level. Got a good personality, but the less teams that want him, the better. On we go. 3rd first team signing completed, and it is another absolute humdinger. Hopefully you'll agree. Let me know what you think of the deal. And we've just got to hope now it doesn't get ruined by Walsall. We've got some more goodish news. Slightly concerning, because we've got the first new contract that's got a minimum fee release in it. It's Leon Lowry, the brilliant 18-year-old striker, and the minimum fee release isn't massive. So what I might have to do here is try and restrict his football for the next year and working him off the pitch to try and stop clubs wanting to come in for him. At 18, he's playing for England under-19s. He's improving very quickly. Oh, he's going to be going for 8 million, isn't he? Oh, it's the first letdown of the summer. And it's quite a big one. It's one of our stars. And it's mentioned in the media. Do you know what? I'm not going to comment, because the more airtime it gets, the worse for us. We don't want other clubs to know that. We don't want it mentioned on Sky Sports News. We want to make sure it doesn't happen. Dren, what have you missed? Not a great deal since you've been away in terms of signings. Got a few new contracts. Leon Lowry, we've just mentioned there, obviously. Couple of new contracts. And then Ian Wardley joining the club, who you may remember from back at Charlton. He's the only one who's joined since you left. Fran Villalba, obviously, earlier in the window. Demarai Gray, a first team signing as well. Dimitri's still doing all right there. Playing in the first team for now, but he will drop down when the season starts. And Ian Wardley, 240 grand. I'm going to very quickly get him in a mentoring group. Try and get that determination up. So let's have a look at the mentoring training. Are there any determined ones? I need a player who's really determined. Furlong, 14. Monchu, 14. So he's going to go in there. We're going to put Ian Wardley in the group with those. We're going to take Higgins out of that group. And we're going to put him into the bottom one with Demarai Gray, who's a more suited position. Just try and get them all working together. So where has he gone? I only just took him out. Jamie Higgins, there he is. Let's put him in there. So otherwise, I think it's looking very good. Again, trying to do the work to get people in social groups. So hopefully Coleman will go into the core one, as will Wardley, working with those two influential pros. Lee Hamilton, try and get him into the core group. And Demarai Gray, hopefully will be dragged in by the three youngsters. But let's skip ahead. Another pre-season friendly at Walsall. And let's hope this all isn't ruined by injury news. Indrajit, is this your full-time job? It's not. So I mentioned a little bit earlier on, my full-time day job is in the NHS in England. I work in a GP surgery as one of the managers there. I do it 5 days a week. So I work every weekday apart from Tuesday, and then at the weekend apart from Sunday, and other little bits of cover as needed. So this is certainly not a job at the moment. I mean, I barely earn a penny from it, to be honest. A little tiny bit from ad revenue, but not a great deal at the moment. As I mentioned, long term going forward, I'd absolutely love it to become part of my job. It would be amazing. I still love my job in the NHS. I'd love to work there long term and will continue to do so. But this sort of pandemic and this outbreak, the horrible situation in the world, has sort of made me realise what I knew before, which is doing it full time for 50 years is going to just drain you and lead to burnout. So I'd love it to be a part-time part of my role for the long-term future. But if I could make this part of my full-time job and make up the other half of my income long-term that way, or most of it, it would be absolutely incredible. I know it's a long way off. I'm a very new YouTuber. It's only my second ever live stream. I've only been making videos about 18 months and the growth's been brilliant considering. And I really do appreciate all the support on the channel. It makes such a difference. But it is something I'd love to do long term as part of my job. But I will always still do that little part in the NHS as well, because it's a job I absolutely love. But we've got our first big win in pre-season, a 5-1 win at Walsall. And again, no injury news, which is great. Dren says Wardley's a bargain. I couldn't agree more. I absolutely agree. 240 grand is ridiculous for him. I don't know how we've managed to get him for that, because he's an absolutely brilliant player. I mean, he should have been going for millions, but I'm not going to complain. If Neil can get deals like that, I'm going to be a very happy man. So long may it continue. I hope you're all still enjoying the stream and the work from the director of football. We've only actually got about 2.5 weeks to the season now, so not long to go. And we seem to be flying through them now we've got our main targets. It does look like he agrees with us though. He's not gone for a replacement striker yet. So he obviously trusts May and Lowry as well. We're going to welcome Wardley. Vaughan showing progress. Wow. 3-star ability. Are you sure? 2.5 according to that. Pepper's saying 3-star. I'm not sure he's that good, to be honest, but that's real quick improvement from him and Lowry now. Wardley, I'm delighted to welcome. There we go. We've probably found one of the reasons then. He's had injury problems in the past. We're delighted we've got it done on the cheap. I mean, he could get injured for a year and then go, and he'd still get double or triple the value, so no arguments there. But I am really excited with how things are going there. So I hope you agree. Please do feel free to ask questions. I've got no problem with that. Give you a bit of a background to my day job. It's not a problem at all. I absolutely love it. But I can't lie, I would love to make this part of my job long term. I've got loads of different ideas for football content, sports content, and a couple of other little bits. My other main hobby is food, so I'd love to do something based on that as well. But at the moment, it's all Football Manager, as we've got another injury. Now, it's not a key player, so it's not going to set the world alight. It's not going to cause a disaster. But I'm hoping it's not a long one still. 1 to 3 days. I'm getting worried about nothing here. I guess the fact that all I've got to worry about is little injury alerts says how well the transfer window's going. Because normally that would be the sort of thing that with Salford I wouldn't have even been able to think about. I would have just been saying, oh dear, here we go again. We've not got a signing. We've got 14 players left and he's selling someone again. But as it stands here, things are looking pretty good. So I've got no complaints. Unfortunately, I've just lost the live chat for a minute because, again, I'm on Virgin Media Internet, so it's a little bit slower. But I will try and get back to as many questions as possible. And thank you for continuing to watch along. It really does mean a lot. If you haven't already, please put a thumbs up on it. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope it doesn't show that it's only my second ever live stream. Though I'm sure it probably does. You can be honest. And for those of you that have missed any of the action along the way, there'll be a full stream replay available afterwards. It'll probably take a little while to upload because the internet's a bit slower than normal. But otherwise, all looking good. Andy, do I live alone? I don't, fortunately. It's one of the things I'm most glad about at the moment. Unfortunately, I still live at home. So with my mum, and my girlfriend also lives with me as well. Her family are high risk, so she's staying with us during the lockdown. So we're still working. My mum also works in the NHS, so similar risk levels for us. It doesn't really make a great deal of difference. I'm hoping to be able to afford a house soon. I've been saving nearly all of my wages for the last 7-8 years. So I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to get the own house. But as you know, the economy's a tough one for new starters now, particularly in the UK. But let's get to Football Manager action because we have got another new young signing. Got tongue twisted there. 16-year-old Ashley Harriott, centre midfielder, 500 grand up to $1 million, 1-star ability, 4.5 potential. This could be a good one. I think it is. And the reason I say that is a number 10, professional personality, good first touch, good technique, decent work rate, tries killer balls often. I mean, the main thing that's a problem is that natural fitness is horrendous. But that's something with a 16-year-old we can work on. Otherwise, he looks a very good prospect. So I'm looking forward to that. But I might not be looking forward to the news from the next 2 messages. Dren, I'll go through the pre-season results so far in a moment. Once we've had a look at these 2 offers for Marsh and Mayhas and whether they've been accepted. So Bristol City for Marsh, rejected. 1.4 million. See, I would have thought that's all right. I don't know how much more he's expecting. He obviously believes he can get more because that was rising to 2.5 million. So, do you know what? I would have accepted that. So fair play to him. If he wants to hold out for more, I'll trust him with his negotiating. But this one worries me because it's from Shandong in China and the Chinese Super League has been throwing money about in this save. So let's have a look. It's been accepted. £10 million for Mayhas. He's worth 3.6. Venezuelan. He's not got the best natural fitness. I can understand why it's been accepted, but I think he could have been worth a bit more. He's played in China before, so I've no doubt he'll probably accept this. I'm not devastated. He is the one first-team player I said earlier in his stream. I wouldn't mind, really, if he went. And to be honest, I have to stick with that. I won't be devastated. So Mayhas, he is on the way. It looks like he'll be going to Shandong. We've still got 2 good centre-halves in Coleman and Simpson, the youth homegrown prospect. And we've also got Coleman who can cover there. Not Coleman, sorry, Robinson who can cover there. And then the youngster that we signed in the summer. But I think one more would probably come in then. So let's just skip ahead and see if that gets done. With 2 weeks to go until the end of pre-season. We said have a look at the results. We'll go and have a look at that the next time we come back as well. So far, they've been very good. We've drawn 1 game. I think we've won all of the rest. And obviously, you saw the Lincoln one last time out. Was the first time we really looked convincing. I guess the main pleasing thing is a couple of the youngsters have been getting goals. Jack Vaughan scored 2 or 3. I think Andy May or Lowry got 1 in one of the earlier friendlies. And a lot of them have been getting game time. So that's a real positive for us. But we will go and have a look through all the results just to see how we've been getting on. Particularly now we've got a week without fixtures before our last 2 of this pre-season tournament. Apologies as I dropped the phone there trying to respond to some of the comments. Thank you for following along. Sorry if you were listening to headphones there. But hopefully we've got more signings to come now. A bit of a slow process for the 16th of July, so I'm not sure. Does that mean we've got some transfer action coming? Does that mean there's a big deal on the way? It doesn't, unfortunately. The offer for Harrott's accepted. Future prospect, £850 a week. No problems with that whatsoever. Submitting our squad for the season. There's no new over 23s. Let me quickly take you through the friendlies. So far we've played 6. We're on 3-1 at TNS. We won 3-2 at Torquay, 1-0 at Sunderland, Jack Vaughan getting the winner there, 1-0 at Coventry, returning loanee Alan Campbell, 2-2 at Lincoln, Rod Coleman, who will probably be first choice now after Mayhas goes, and then 5-1 at Walsall. No other goals for Lowry. I must have made that one up. Maybe it was the under-23 game he scored in. But otherwise, a really good pre-season so far. 2 more games to go, and only the one injury to Glenn Stevens, and a small one to Callum Bonner now as well, but he'll be alright. Andy, I do appreciate your kind words. Would never know I was new to this. I appreciate you feel that way, and I hope the others agree. In terms of streaming, it's the second time I've ever done it, obviously. Videos, probably about 18 months now. I started at the back end of FM18. Sort of the start of FM20 was probably my worst period because I was rushing it because of the NHS work, to be honest. So there were a little bit there where I didn't capitalise on the new game. But now I'm having a time of my life. I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully it's great. A girlfriend is a keeper. She's been with me, 8.5 years? Probably since I was about 18, 19. So I will very happily keep her as she lets me put the content out. She does take the mick in the background sometimes, round the corner. I start to keep a straight face, but I can't complain overall. Now, this is an interesting one. We've come back with the pre-season odds, and we're only 6th favourites to get promoted. Charlton, our former club, just behind us. Salford expected to go down, no shocks there. And Watford, 2nd favourites. So that first game of the season is going to be even more important than we think. Because if we want a chance of winning in the top 2, we're going to need to win games like that. Otherwise, unfortunately, it's probably the playoffs and we're going down to the lottery. The youngsters still training brilliantly. Steve Hay improving. Jack Vaughan. Yeah, it's all looking really good. I'm really pleased with how this is going. The youngsters are improving. The first team signings have been great. And it's all looking great. This is probably the smoothest transfer window I've ever had in this save. And I've been doing it 4 or 5 years altogether. 3 years on camera. I've never had a window this comfortable. So I'm really pleased with how it's going. And it gives me more time to answer your questions and chat to you guys, which I really enjoy. It's the main reason I've started streaming. I can respond in the comments, but you don't get to have that same level of interaction. So thank you so much for all of you that are joining along. I really do appreciate your time. I really do appreciate you coming along and giving it the time. We're learning about Zamani, so I'm guessing that means that he didn't have a work permit, because otherwise he wouldn't have been accepted. He's going off to Hajduk, Croatia, so that'll be a good move for him. Millwall have made an offer for Ross Marsh. Rejected. It was less than the last one. Squad numbers. Don't know about you. I don't really care about them. So we'll just offer whatever they want. And off we go. And we have our first big sale of the summer. Giovanni Mayhas, the Venezuelan international, has gone back to China for £10 million. So one of our starting centre-halves has left the club. I guess to put it into perspective, that's made more than we've spent in the rest of the window, basically. Villalba, Wardley and Demarai Gray together are 11, 12 million, 11 and a half. And Mayhas is 10. So it's decent business. But we could do with a replacement, really. Let's see if this is one. It's not. It's just the squad number announcement. So I'm hoping as the next couple of weeks go on, we'll get someone else in before the window. But let me know what you think of Mayhas leaving. He was quite often tired last season. I'm going to say there needs to be an element of trust. I'm not turning publicly on the director of football when he's been that good. So let's go back to the senior squad. I just need to know which ones I need to relegate now, because it will affect signings coming in. Andreas Dimitrou. Do you know what? He's improving quite quickly. At this rate, he could be the 4th choice centre-half. So I'm not going to relegate them for now. I'm going to wait and see. Do I need to try and force Dusnip's hand, or can I trust him? I think I can trust him. Either way, it's not a disaster. We're going to look pretty good going in for the season. So hopefully, it'll just produce a moment of magic instead. One centre-half to come in. He's not replacing Preeka, which I've got no complaints about. I think the young strikers are perfectly good enough. But we could well do with a centre-half. Any more offers? Not just yet. None of our players expected to be top scorer, which is very bold considering how many Balogun scored in half a season last year. But again, maybe they just don't trust us in the media. They seem to think we're going to finish 6th. I'm confident we can do better than that. We nearly got 6th last year and we took over in 21st. So I think we can reach the top 2. But that requires us keeping the squad intact. We've got an under-23 game. Let's get them playing for 45 minutes again. And Watford have made an offer for Marsh. Will this be the one that changes his mind? It won't. 2.5 million up front and he's rejected it. He's only got 1 year left on his contract. I'm starting to worry about this one. Unless he's that desperate to keep him. But don't forget, he did put that 15 million asking price on him. So maybe that's why he keeps turning it down. I don't know. But we'll wait and see. It's the one bit that I'm a little bit puzzled by so far. But with 2 weeks to go until the season, overall, I'm a very happy man. Let me know in the comments what you think. Please do put a thumbs up on the video if you haven't already. Thank you so much for coming along and watching. I hope I'm giving you some light relief from this lockdown. If you're in the UK, that is. If you're elsewhere in the country and the situation's similar, I hope you're keeping safe. Make sure you do stay safe. And hopefully this can be a little bit of light-hearted relief for you for a couple of hours. Watching the legend that is Neil, our director of football. Under 2 weeks now, no real news on a centre-half, which is a bit of a worry for me. But aside from that, things looking pretty good, so I'm not going to have too many complaints. Thank you to all of you getting involved in the comments. Thank you to all of you that have stuck along. We've sold 13,900 season tickets, more than they expected. There's a scout report there. He looks good. Go and bid for him. We like him. We don't worry about the training calendar. In pre-season, we trust our director of football. We trust our coaches. We trust our assistant. AFC Wimbledon have put in a loan bid for that youngster we were talking about from Greece. But it was rejected because they're not offering to pay his wages. So I've got no complaints about that. But overall, what a fantastic window. I mean, even if nothing else happens now, I'll be delighted. Obviously, deadline day comes after this stream. It'll be involved in Thursday's episode. We'll have our first game of the season, a quick roundup of these transfers, and we'll have deadline day, which is the Thursday after. So I'm kind of hoping that we'll be able to have our bit of magic there. But I would quite like a centre-half to replace Mayhas before the season. It's the only player I'd ask for, but it doesn't look like it's going to come that quickly. I guess with it being a surprise sale and out of the blue bid, from China for the player Mayhas, we weren't necessarily going to have a player ready to replace them. Whereas the others, we knew they were going. They were pre-agreed deals, or they were players that took a week or two to go. Mayhas, it was an offer from China, big money, and he's gone like that. So it's very hard to prepare for those as a director of football. To be honest, even there as a manager, if you're managing the club, you'd struggle to replace that. Andy, I'd carry him there for 2.5 million. I couldn't agree more. I mean, with 1 year left on his deal, it's a good idea. I'm a bit annoyed because we were getting offers of 6-7 million in January and we were rejecting them because I guess he looked like a great prospect and he was coming off the bench then, but he went out on loan, didn't really improve, and now he won't sign a new deal. So maybe the one mistake the director of football's made, but if it's only one, he's done a very good job. We've got 3 messages. Any more offers? No. One for Brighton from Marsh, which has been rejected. 2.6 this time and a profit sell-on clause. Still not budging though, is he, Neil? We must trust him. If he thinks he's a good player and won't sell him, he must be very special with Neil signing him. So, I tell you what, I might need to start trusting his judgment a bit more there. Otherwise, we've got a week and a half to go and things are looking very, very rosy. So let's hope it stays that way. No news on new deals yet. Squad bonuses, I'm going to keep on normal. I want to go on a cup run this year and we don't need to increase the transfer budget because we've got a really good squad and a brilliant wheeling and dealing director of football. It's our penultimate friendly. It's against KSV. I think that's Belgium. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll have a look. Might be Norway, actually. Basically, I haven't got a clue. Why didn't I just say that to start with? A dominant 4-0 win. It was Belgium, right first time. Should have trusted myself. And look at that. Their key player's Norwegian. So across the board, we were decent. Villalba gets man of the match. Trevor O'Callaghan scored again. That's something we've got to keep an eye on. I said I'm not going to prioritise him because he's not come through our youth system. He might be taking that decision out of my hands at the moment. A goal for Trevor O'Callaghan and another very good performance. Indri, thank you for some lovely work at the NHS. I do appreciate it. I mean, to be honest, I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm not working in a hospital. I'm not in an intensive care unit. We're one of the safe hubs that are seeing patients who need to be seen for other things urgently, like dressings, like vaccinations and things like that. So I'm by no means saying I've got it worse. I've got one of the lucky roles in the NHS at the moment, our sort of surgery. And the people working in ICUs and hospitals, it's incredible the work they're doing. But I appreciate it. I will endeavour to keep up the good work. And hopefully, I'll be able to continue live streaming and making daily videos as well. Because to be honest, having something to focus on outside when you're seeing the nasty things going on in the day, it's something nice to keep your mind on. So hopefully, I can give you guys 15, 20, 25 minutes of entertainment a day. And it keeps me sane as well. And everyone in the household too. So it's all good. But just over a week to go to the season now. No offer for a centre-half. It's probably the one disappointment I've got. It's probably the one thing that I'm a bit worried about. Manu Garcia's got British citizenship now. That's good. He's wanted as well, though. Oh, Sevilla. That's different to an offer from a Russian team. If Sevilla come in, there is no chance he's turning them down. So he may well be losing Garcia yet. Again, wouldn't be a disaster, but would definitely weaken the squad. It doesn't look like it's happening, does it? The action sort of dried up a little bit now. So it looks like it's going to be a calm last week. Let's have a look. St Ives Town away is our last friendly, so it should be a morale boosting victory, if nothing else. Just sending a quick message back to you all to thank you for watching. And then hopefully we can focus on the last week before the season. If you are watching on replay, thank you as well. Get down in the comments of the video, let me know what you think. But otherwise, so far, things are looking very good. I think it's been a really good window, and I'm hoping it's not going to be ruined in the next week. Though I could really do with a signing, to be honest. So hopefully that will be coming soon. We can get that centre-half. It's the only thing we really need now, the replacement for Mayhas. Otherwise, I have absolutely nothing to complain about at all. Let's have a look then. Here we go. 1 week to go. 5 messages. Right, we've got an offer. It's only a youngster because it's Jonathan Pepper, the head of youth development. An offer for Finley. It's a bit of a weird one, but it's very low risk. From Stourbridge. What league are they in? National League North. 1-star ability, 2-star potential. Bit strange, that one. Came through at West Ham, got released. And it looks like Burnley are taking a punt. We've had a rejected offer for the young Greek centre midfielder on loan. Not quite sure why on that front. But either way, we're not going to complain too much. Thank you to everyone for watching. My first message in the chat, I thought about SM1 during the day. Obviously, I generally respond via voice rather than in the chat because I've only got the one screen system, unfortunately. But long term, I'm sure we'll be able to sort that out. Thank you very much for everyone who's still sticking along. If you're enjoying it, please put a thumbs up on it. It does make such a difference. I really do appreciate the support. As I said, it's only my second ever live stream, so to have this level of support already is incredible. And I hope for those of you that will be following along for the season ahead, it will give you a nice little sneak preview of the behind the scenes footage before Thursday. Normally we just come back, review the transfers, play the first game of the season. So to see how we got here, how the director of football works, how calm this one's been, which has been really striking. He's been proactive, got his deals done early, and bar that one sale as a centre-half, everything he's done has been very sensible and organised. So I'm very pleased with how he's going, and I hope you guys are agreeing with his work. And hopefully, it'll give us a chance at promotion. We've got another returning face. Wow. The last problem is being solved. It is centre-half. And have a look at who it is. Does anyone remember that name? I'm sure it's from the same era. In fact, was it? Was it Charlton or was it Salford? Robson Brown. It was Charlton. Now, I'm not quite sure why I've made the loan bid for him because I've just looked and it's sort of tempered my expectations slightly. He's 4-star ability, 5-star potential. He's an unbelievable centre-half, an England under-21 international, but he's got a hip injury and he's out for 9 weeks. So I'm not quite sure why now we've made the loan bid, but once he's fit again in October, which Rod Coleman is perfectly adequate to play until, he could be a superstar. I mean, he's on the verge of the England first team. He's played 31 under-21 caps. It's worth 11 million at City and a year-long loan deal. How much of the wages do they want to pay? I mean, even if it's all of it, it's 20 grand a week. That's incredible. Really brilliant. So if that deal gets done and he can come back from that injury as the player he is, we will complete this summer as a very, very happy man and a very satisfied manager. I didn't expect 2 of the 4 to be reunions from young players we had on loan at Charlton, but I'm not going to complain. Players that know the way I play, players that are used to my style of management, it can only help. So no complaints whatsoever. And fingers crossed that deal will go over the line, because that is going to be a big, big moment if it does. I know the injury's not ideal now. As we win our final game of pre-season, oh, look, all the youngsters are at it. Lowry got a goal. Jack Vaughan got 2. He's really playing well. We've got to think about getting him on the bench. Maybe he is as good as they say he is. Owen Edmonds scored, one of the ones that came through the academy. And Manu Garcia as well. Let's hope he makes it to the season. But what a way to finish pre-season in that regards. Let me know what you think of Robson Brown. I know the injury's a bit bizarre, but otherwise, I think that's a pretty special signing as well. Thank you to everyone who's still joining along. Please do put a thumbs up if you haven't already. But I'm really overwhelmed with the support for the first couple of streams. I really didn't expect this on a Tuesday morning to have loads of you interacting and watching along. And for all of you watching on replay as well later on, I hope you're staying safe and I hope you're enjoying it. We've got another signing and another sale. It's all happening very quickly now. And for this time, for the players who need fitness, we'll get it up to 60 because it is the last game before the season starts. So Harrott is joining the club from Sheffield United. Ashley Harrott rejected Charlton. Oh, they're all becoming favourites today. There was one earlier in the summer. Was it Hamilton that rejected Salford? And now Harrott that's rejected Charlton. 850 quid a week. A really good young player with potential. We've just got to get that personality improving. Apologies if you can hear my very loudly rumbling stomach. I didn't take the smart move of having breakfast before doing this. So we will have a big lunch to make up for it. But a professional personality, it's just the fitness. It's the only thing. So I'm going to go and override the young managers. The under 18s I normally let take charge. So I'm taking charge of this player's individual training and I'm leaving it on endurance for as long as I can. Zamani, who we haven't got a full work permit for, he's gone out on loan to Hajduk Split. And Derby have made an offer for Ross Marsh. Rejected again, 2.6 million. He really wants to keep him, Neil, doesn't he? He really trusts him, so maybe we've got to think he's better than he is. 2.5 ability, he's still got big potential. But is he thinking he can convince him to sign a new deal? Because if he can't reject these offers. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there. But a brilliant transfer window. Robson Brown could complete it. Thank you so much to the new viewers. It's still creeping up even at this stage of the stream. Again, extra thumbs up on the video. Thank you for that. If you haven't already, please join and do so. I really do appreciate your support with this. Again, as I have a couple of times throughout, I'll apologise that it's Tuesday morning. It's not an ideal time for a stream. But as I've mentioned, my day job, I work every other day of the week. So Tuesday is the only day I can really do them. Sunday's the only other day I have free. I obviously did the first one there. But normally that's when I catch up with most of my videos and bits like that. So if I did live streams on a Sunday, I'd probably lose some of my videos in the week. You've got another injury to Demarai Gray. Oh dear. 3 to 4 weeks. So we're having a bit of a problem out wide. Glenn Stevens, 11 days left. Demarai Gray, 3 to 4 weeks. So his debute's going to be slightly delayed. Is he injury prone? Because he's had 2 or 3 already. Doesn't say anything about it. But unfortunately, he's not going to be fit for the Watford game. So not brilliant there, but Robson Brown could be the signing, and everything else is looking very good. Chris, thank you for popping along, a Burnley fan. I tell you what, I'm starting to enjoy managing your club on here. Your director of football in this series is very good. I've still got the same chairman who's doing a wonderful job. And hopefully, over the next few weeks on the channel, I can lead your side back to the Premier League where they belong in this save. And then fingers crossed I can start to guide them up there as well. And please don't shout at me, it's a realistic save. So if I get a big Premier League offer, I will have to run away. It's not because I'm not enjoying this Burnley save. There's loads of homegrown players that are in the squad and they're all brilliant and I'm loving it. But I have to keep the save realistic. So if I get quadruple the money to go to a big Premier League side, unfortunately it will happen. But I'm really enjoying managing Burnley. It's one of the grounds I was actually due to go to last month to watch football as part of my trying to do the 92. I was going to watch a England under-21s or an England ladies game during the international break, and we were going to go to Salford and a couple of other games, Rotherham up there as well that weekend. But obviously the lockdown started and all football got cancelled, so all the tickets refunded for those, and unfortunately I'm still yet to see Turf Moor in person. But we've got loads of reports coming in which suggests that Neil Dewsnip's not finished here. The loan offer's been accepted for Brown. We are paying all of the wage. Conor Gallagher will remain captain. Cobalt will remain vice-captain. Gallagher's barely going to get a kick. We're getting loads of offers rejected for Ross Marsh. He is so desperate to keep him. O'Callaghan's going on loan, so that's taken my problem away. He's going to Pompey, who are championship level. So that could be a real good learning curve for him. And with just 6 days to go of this stream and pre-season, we've got just one more signing potentially coming in. But thank you, Chris, for joining along as a Burnley fan. Thank you for everyone who's following along with the stream. If you're enjoying it, please put a thumbs up on it. We will do a very quick roundup of all the signings as we go along. I will hope to make you a big club before then. The one thing I'd really love to is have a great season and make you a Premier League club again before then. Some of the young players at the club, it's my favourite thing in FM, having young players that have come through and become first teamers. So if I don't make you a Premier League club this season, I will probably get sacked because the goal is to win promotion. But after surviving in the Championship last year and flying up the table, I think it's pretty realistic. And as a Luton fan, I would happily beat Watford on the first day of the season. So on Thursday, hopefully in that video, at our usual time of 4:30, I'll have more good news on that front for Burnley fans. But thank you everyone for joining along. We are coming towards the end now, just 5 days to go. And I'm just hoping that Robson Brown deal gets over the line. The final piece of the jigsaw, I know he's injured for a couple of months, but after that, it's a returning star from our Charlton days. We've got more offers for Marsh. They're coming in every day. Any accepted? No, he's rejected them all. 3.2 million now. And I guess you could argue he's doing the right thing because the offers are still coming in and they're still going up. So as long as he judges it right for when to accept it, he's probably done everything perfectly. Mr. McGinniester, thank you for coming along. I do appreciate it, you joining along in the stream. I know you came to the first one as well, and you've been in a few of the videos recently, so thank you so much for coming along. I do appreciate all the regulars joining and all the new people that haven't been to the channel before. And I hope I've provided you with a little bit of light relief over the last couple of hours. For anyone who's missed anything so far, there will be a full stream replay available afterwards. And of course, we will catch up with all the signings too. We will have a quick review of all the players that have come in and gone out of the club, just so you can see anything you've missed from the window. I appreciate over a couple of hours, it's hard to stay the whole way along, so no problems at all. And I have just been made very angry. Hang on a minute. Summerskill, 300,000 Newcastle have offered. They've unsettled him because they're a big club. That's really, really annoyed me. Do you know what? Let's go and discuss it with him. I'm not letting Neil do this one. I've made my decision. You've got to concentrate on your football. Okay, do you know what? I'm relaxed now. He's happy with that. He understands. 300,000 for an under-20 England keeper. Came through at the club and is a top goalkeeper in the Championship. I mean, that's derisory. It's disrespectful from Newcastle. They knew what they were doing. It's the old Suarez 40 million and a pound from Arsenal again, isn't it? But Newcastle United, the heroes of my FM19 head coach series, so I can't get too upset. But certainly not being my best friends there. Thank you to everyone who's joining along. Great to see more new people still coming in. If you haven't already, please do put a thumbs up on it. I can see we've reached double figures now, which is incredible. Thank you very much. The number of viewers is creeping up even towards the end of the stream. And obviously we'll be polished off just in time for lunch in the UK. So I'll make sure I don't delay your middle meal. But 2 days to go. 3 days because of the game move for TV. And it's just this Robson Brown deal to get over the line. Otherwise, it's been almost the perfect summer. I guess May has to leave him, probably the one slight bot and a couple of little injuries. But aside from that, it's been pretty perfect. We've got this Trevor Finley joining the club. He's not got any better potential, so I'm not quite sure why he's come in. But either way, it's a low risk deal. It's a free transfer. We're only paying him 600 quid a week and it's only a 1 year deal. So no harm. Robson Brown. Oh no. Oh, so this probably answers our question. He's failed his medical. So I'm guessing when the offer was made for him, he hadn't picked up his hip injury. That's all I can think. Why didn't you sign him? He would have been back in 2 months and he'd be brilliant. Oh, I don't want to end on a sad note. Everything's been brilliant so far. Why end with the first negative of the stream? 2 hours, Neil. You've been doing brilliant work. Why do that to me? So with 3 days to go to the season, I'm guessing the centre-half hunt starts again. Fulham have made an offer for Marsh. It's creeping up again. 3.3 million, but that's rejected too. And we've made another offer for a youngster. Jonathan Pepper, the head of youth development for Richard Clark, who's on trial with Barrow. 1.5 ability, 3.5 potential. Again, it's the personality that's the problem. He's been released from Hull. So no real problems with that. I'm happy with any of those youngsters. They're all low risk. No real problems with them coming in. But that seems like a real sour note that we could be ending the stream on. So hopefully he'll make an offer for someone else before Sunday. Otherwise, I might be tainted despite the fantastic positive stream overall. The transfer window has probably been the best and the smoothest I've ever had in this series. In any form of the game, not just FM20. But that is one slight blotch on it right towards the end. So let me know what you think of that. It's always been a problem for me in this game. You can't sign players who are injured. Whereas in real life, obviously, you can still have your medical. But let's not get too bogged down. It's generally been brilliant. And there's another offer in almost immediately. My fears are allayed. Why do I not trust Neil Dewsnip? He is the man. 2 days till the window ends. 30-year-old Eric Palmer-Brown. Operate regularly at centre-half. 3.5 ability, 3.5 potential. Versatile enough to play on both fullbacks and in the holding role. And just under 5 million dedicated to it. I'm hoping this is going to be a good one. It is a very good one. American international. What a signing that is. Over 100 appearances for Swansea and Middlesbrough. So experienced at this level. Got experience abroad in Holland, in Austria. Came for a City as well via Porto. He's played everywhere. His stats are great. He's good in the air. He's good physically, mentally he's strong. Doesn't dive into tackles. I like that in a centre-half. I mean, that could well be better than Robson Brown, actually, with a permanent. We've had a loan offer for Dimitri rejected. But he saved the day again, Neil. Thank you very much to him. Let me know what you think of Palmer Brown. Potentially the last signing. I doubt it will happen before Sunday's game. But it will certainly be part of that next episode on Thursday. We'll have our first game of the season against Watford. And the end of the transfer window. So deadline day with Neil. Which has normally been a pretty exciting affair so far. I'm very excited with that deal if that goes through. Let's have a look. Nope, just a training report. I was hoping the offer had been accepted there. But as it stands, he might have just saved the day again. And we prefer permanent signings anyway, to get experience in. Every City youngster joins Nat Brader on loan. I think they do. I'm sure, have they got an affiliation, I think? I know it happens a lot in game, but I presume that must be the reason. We'll go and have a look in a moment. But obviously it's the first day of the Championship season now. A lot of the other sides will be playing. We've got our game moved to Sunday for TV in what should be a big clash at the top of the table. Well, let's go and have a look at Man City. Have they got an affiliation? I don't even know if we'll be able to see it. They have. There you go. So that answers your question. A lot of players go there. Obviously, the ones with New York City FC and Melbourne City are well known. But that one, probably not so much so. So, yeah, that's why lots of players go there. They've got an international loan partnership. So, that makes sense. No problem with that whatsoever. And it just means that he gets more experience abroad before coming to us. But a wonderful player. And plenty of experience to add to the squad as well. Ross Marsh. Do you know what? I'm just going to say in the media, I'm happy for him to go. Because he's causing more problem than he's worth now. I'm sure you'll agree. Andy, he looks quality with experience. I completely agree. If Palmer Brown comes in, looking at the timings now, it probably will be in Thursday's episode rather than the end of this stream. But it would be a fabulous deal. The offer's been accepted. We've offered 25 grand a week in wages. He's on 15. Important player. So that's the first time he's done that this summer, I think. That suggests that he will be coming in. We've got our pre-match press conference, which we'll run through. Normally the second option for me. But overall, despite a couple of slight negative moments towards the end, injuries obviously, Demery Gray, Glenn Stevens as well that will miss the start of the season, and a couple of players like Lloyd Kelly rejecting us and then Robson Brown's deal being cancelled. Otherwise, this has been brilliant, though it could just be ruined by Orellana's injury here. 3 to 4 weeks again. Everyone's getting injuries now. Orellana's out. He's our best central midfielder. So we'll be starting the season with Monchu alongside Garcia maybe. But Orellana, quite injury prone. That's why we got him on the cheap in January. And they're the sort of risks you have to take when you're managing budgets. So the Championship season starts now. Let's see how some of our rivals get on. Mr. McGuinness, Chelsea and Vitesse, yeah, they have a similar deal in real life. A lot of players used to go out there. Probably not so much in the last couple of years, but I guess they're better youngsters to get in football in Championship and Premier League clubs. Chris, any real life players still at the club? So I don't think there are now, but the summer that we just started, Chris Wood retired. He was a backup player with us last year at 34, 35, and he'd become a club legend, playing loads and loads of games. Andy, he speaks English as well. Yep, he came through at City, so brought up using English. Obviously an American international now too, so I presume he'd be speaking English for that. Really good signs along the way. But Chris, yeah, I don't think there are now. I think Chris Wood was the last one in the summer. Let me just go to the squad and look. Luton drew their first game. Salford drew. Who did they play? Portsmouth, a promoted side. So, you know, they shouldn't get too excited about that. We will go and have a very quick look at Salford's window before we end as well. Let me just go to the squad. Are there any players that are still there? I really don't think there are. So the only ones that are old enough, really. Damari Gray, Furlong. No. So there's no players there from real life. The last one was Chris Wood, who left in the summer, but that was due to retiring. So one day to go. Then we'll do a quick recap of our summer work. We'll also do a quick recap of the Salford summer. We'll have a look to see how they've got on. But thank you so much to everyone for continuing to watch along, for joining this stream this morning. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been good quality, and I hope the Virgin internet problems haven't caused too many issues. If you haven't already, please put a thumbs up on it. I really do appreciate it. I've been blown away by the support for the first couple. And if you have missed any of it, it will all be available on replay later. So please don't worry, you can catch up with it later on. But we're on the first day of the season. We'll skip ahead to the time of the match, and then we will join the next episode, 4:30 on Thursday, which will be that game against Watford and transfer deadline day. Offers for Marsh, all rejected again, and we're into the fours now. It's getting silly. Clark's joined, the one who was on trial at Barrow. Not got quite as much potential as it looked to start with. We're not going to worry about him too much. And we've got 6 hours to go. 6 hours for Palmer Brown to join and make the first game of the season. But I'm not quite sure it's going to come along yet. Just to say, because I know that the stream's about 30 seconds behind due to my slightly basic setup, I will stick along in the chat for a minute just in case there's any questions at the end. But we have now made it to the first day of the season. We've sold a couple hundred more season tickets. We've got the Carabao Cup tie on TV. I guess it's a banana skin away to Notts County, isn't it? So we might slip up there. And the fitness tests, not looking good. Glenn Stevens, not quite fit yet. And a couple of others who aren't really ready to play. I think we might be about to get our stream ruined by the postman. But we're not going to worry about that for now. We're going to review our transfer window very quickly. And we're going to have a quick look at Salford as well. And then we will round it all off. So thank you very much to everyone for joining me. If you've missed any of these signings, you can find out about them now. So going out of the club, pre-agreed was Heriberto Tavares, $4.5 million to Wigan Athletic. He had a really good summer. Parol Jarozinski, backup left back last year, gone for $1.5 million. Who else have we got down here? Tim Preaker, $7 million to Bursaspor. So we lost nearly half of that to Malmo, who had a sell-on clause. We've then got a few others that happen live in the stream. Basagog for 600,000. May Hasta Star for 10 million. Our first choice centre half last year. He's gone back to China. He's earning 135 grand a week. So do you know what? I was angry about him leaving for that league. No complaints. 135 grand a week's ridiculous. In terms of the ins, we've got young Andreas Dimitru, £230,000. Improving already. Looks like he's got a bit of potential. Damari Gray comes in for $1.5 million. Unfortunately, has been a little bit injury prone in pre-season, but worth far more already. Lee Hamilton, young player on a free, just a gamble, already improving. Hopefully his personality will work in the mentoring groups and he can become a star. The big summer signing, Fran Villalba, $9.25 million from Birmingham, a natural number 10, something we haven't had yet since joining Burnley. Very fit, good flair, good technique, good vision. Not the best stamina or work rate. Not going to help us much defensively, but should still be a solid signing. Ian Wardley from Manchester City, $250,000, probably the best deal of the summer. We had him on loan at Charlton a few years back. He is an absolute superstar. So hopefully you'll all agree with that. And then moving on, we've got a few more to get through. It's been quite a busy summer actually, looking back at it this way. Ashley Harrott, the young 16-year-old from Sheffield United, £500,000. Low risk, fairly professional. I'm sure he'll improve as we go along. And then the last two, I'm not even going to bring up the profiles. Finley and Clark, low risk deals from Stourbridge and free transfers. And neither of them realistically are ever going to make it. So that's our transfer window. But as you guys said earlier on, a couple of players rejected Salford. So I think it's only fair that we very quickly go and see how they got on. See if they've been spending money since we left, and then we will wrap up this live stream ahead of Thursday's episode. So let's have a look at their transfer history. Have they been busy? That's what I want to know. No, they haven't. A bit similar. They haven't lost any players this summer. So let me know what you think of this. It's a little bit strange to me. But 5 players coming in and no players going out. And they have spent over £1 million on another player from Fulham. Another young one and another central defender. So it looks like Salford are starting to buy now, which could be an interesting thought for the summer. For the season, sorry, even. But let's go and finish by looking at the season preview, where we're expected to finish with all of those signings. We're expected still to finish 6th. Watford, our opponents for Thursday's episode, still expected to finish 2nd. So it's going to be a tough test to start the season. I've got a sneaky suspicion that if we sign Palmer Brown, we might creep up above Brentford in particular, maybe Palace as well. That's the one bit of the jigsaw that needs completing. Otherwise, I'm very happy with the squad we've got. So thank you very much to everyone who's joined along during this stream. I hope you've enjoyed Neil's work and Jonathan, the Director of Football and Head of Youth Development. They've really given us a good, efficient summer, and it's been nice to have a relaxing one where things have gone pretty well. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please put a thumbs up on the video. Thank you so much for sticking along. I hope I've been able to provide a little light relief, and I hope there haven't been too many technical problems in my second ever live stream. Thank you for your support with it and getting involved in the chat. I'll be back soon with another one, hopefully. We'll try and get a plan going forward for live streaming, but I'll do as many of these summer transfer windows as I can from this series now, and then we'll have a long-term plan for FM21. Please put a thumbs up on it. If you've missed any of it, you can catch up with the stream replay afterwards. It'll probably take a while to upload, but after that, it will be freely available to watch. Thank you so much for everyone for watching. I really have been blown away by the support, and I hope you've enjoyed it nonetheless. We'll be back on Thursday at 4:30 for our first game of the season against Watford, as well as our transfer deadline day. Chris McNeil at Watford, absolutely spot on. There's a few ouches in there. The 1 star went a few years back, but we're going to try and beat Watford and make him feel bad for leaving. Got that sentence wrong as well. We're going to make him feel bad for leaving, and we're going to try and beat Watford pretty comfortably. But thank you so much everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content, as well as our 2 new series on Sunday. And I'll put links to them all in the eye above for the replay. And please do check out the other content on the channel. Andy, thank you for the kind words and for all the others popping in. And obviously I'll stay in the chat for a couple of minutes as I know the stream's a little bit behind. But thank you everyone for watching. And I'll see you again tomorrow for our usual video.